Well, guys, we're back here, and this time we have a very special guest. This is Andres. Andres,
Hey,
welcome.
thank you.
Andres, we work together,
Yes.
and your name is Andres.
Yes.
And this is as much as I know about you. No, I'm kidding. Andres, you also are, well, you can maybe tell us something about you.
Yes, of course. Kind of the most relevant thing is that I'm from Colombia.
That's the most relevant. I hoped you said that. Stefcho, did you hear that? Colombia.
Yeah, I'm
Stefcho?
writing it down.
Yeah, we finally
Damn.
have a connection. We finally have a Colombian connection, so we can make some business happen. Something.
I don't even know where is this. I mean, I'm sorry, but was it South America?
Yeah, well, you know where it is, man. It's on the map. It's marked with white. Anyway, so I'm sorry. So you're from Colombia,
Yes. And I have been in Malta for 15 years.
right?
So,
Enough to hate it to the bone.
well, it's like I cannot escape basically. No, but it's a nice place. I like it. It's a bit small, but it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. So
Why did you run away?
No, actually, I came here to Malta to study business English, and then I met a girl, and I got stuck here. Not in my plans, definitely.
Right.
Nice.
We never won this. You know, it's nature works in mysterious ways.
Oh yes, and destiny. Well, I don't know if actually you can say that destiny actually happens or not.
I don't know. Do you believe in destiny?
I don't know. It's like I wonder if it's actually you have a free will or not to make certain decisions.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. For sure, we think that we think that we have more free will than we actually have. This is what I believe in. I believe that there is freedom, but within predefined boundaries. You know, it's funny, and we see this only from the perspective of time. Like when you look back at different people in history, and you go, well, why did not the black people, for example, rebel, and the slaves, rebel or something, and all of these examples, and you see over and over again that people just in certain circumstances play along, and they fit to these social constraints, and because those social constraints are a result of some biological, probably biologically defined borders, so that you can cross, and that is more logical to me than destiny. It makes more sense to say, oh well, there's some biological mechanism that or instincts that guide you around, rather than saying, oh, there's destiny, because destiny is more vague to me.
Okay, but so what you are saying is like, so there is some biological traces that determine how we should act and the boundaries that we have.
I think so. I think there are those things, and we understand maybe only part of them, and we constantly try to break free from them. But I don't know if we can succeed, if we even can break out of them, because we are still biological creatures.
But it's the same in the end of the day. If you look back, you can always say it was destiny. But maybe it's more limiting about the future if you think it's destiny. But
So what you're saying? It's better to believe that there's no destiny, or
yeah,
yeah, I agree. I like the Neo idea. Neo, when he meets the Oracle and she says, "You don't like that idea of destiny." He says, "No. Why?" Well, because I don't like the idea that something or someone is controlling my life.
So we just deny that there is destiny.
Yeah, I mean, some
no,
people.
but you can't really deny it. You can always say it's unprovable. You can always say that was your destiny.
Right,
So what can
right.
say
You can
about
always
it?
say, I was thinking, and then
It's
finally I
about-
made this choice, but it
It's
was
about
destiny,
the-
right?
It's about the mindset. It's about what
But
you
then
do now. What do you do now? Do you accept now as destiny?
But then that's kind of, we use destiny as a like to blame
Excuse.
if something goes wrong.
Right.
We say no, it was
Yeah,
destiny.
it was destiny. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an excuse for sure, and it's I don't know, it's an excuse just the same way that a commercial is.
Yeah.
A commercial for destiny. Destiny, guys, it's this thing that a lot of people claim exists, but we can never be sure. One thing's for sure, nothing's sure. So go to destiny.com and order your own personal destiny. It will be provided by one of our oracles with 30 plus years of experience in reading coffee, reading books, reading your palms, your feet, all kinds of reading. So if you don't like that, go to reading.com and learn to read yourself. You can read books, poems, and all the stuff that I mentioned already. Just so, this is kind of crazy, but we have these commercials because, otherwise we don't make money. So we need to make those commercials, Andres. So that's why.
So we make more money.
It's kind of like it's destiny. We have
we make twice more if we have commercials. So it's 0 times 2.
Yeah.
But the
it's
thing
0
is,
times 2, basically.
the thing is, this destiny. I mean, if something bad happens to you, you can say that was destiny. And if it's your fault, you can say it's my fault and I will improve. Oh, whatever.
Right. By the way, Stefcho, you don't see this, but I'm holding a glass in my hand, and this is like a baby glass. When you go to a communist country in the 80s and go to a kindergarten, you'll see glasses like this that cost 0 money. This is like almost a natural resource. This shitty glass that I'm holding, and I Andres came here. I'm like, what do you want to drink? And so we decided, let's drink this wine. And I say, sorry, man, I only have these fucking shitty glasses. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, no worries. You know how the glass is exaggerating like the taste of the wine, and a better glass helps it breathe. And I go, yeah. Mm-hmm. So cheers to that delicious glass.
Yeah, I also don't have glasses for wine.
And usually sorry.
But recently I saw some glasses for wine in the store, and there were 2. I could say, okay, I'll get them. And they were so expensive. They cost like $30 or something for 2.
Wow. Nice. Okay. They must have been special before you broke them.
They don't look special.
Did you break them like everything else in your life?
Not yet.
No, I'm kidding. I used to have some, and I think Devi now has them. Everything I used to have is gone.
What do you think he uses them for? To watch football all by himself?
Yeah, he uses them to look through. No, he doesn't even drink. That's the thing. A guy this is a friend of mine that I used to live with. This guy's, man, I love the guy, and I can safely say all kinds of shit about him because I know he will never listen to this. No, but the thing is, we make fun of him because...
No, but we're joking.
Of course, it's a joke. It's like destiny. It's an excuse.
We can excuse. Yeah, it's just a joke.
This guy, Devi is his name. He loves football, and there's nothing wrong about it, except when you're doing it 36 hours a day.
Oh my god!
And then,
but it's 36 hours because he watches 3 of them at the same time.
Exactly. So the thing is, how on the smart TVs you can rewind sometimes, like back and forth. So he has all the sports channels. So he watches one game and then turns to another channel and watches another game and goes back to the first one and rewinds because he missed something because he was watching the other game. So now 90 minutes turns into 2 hours. It's an endless thing. And he plays FIFA at the same time and looks at this, and sometimes has his laptop open and plays something else. It's insane. And I'm like, man, what are you doing with your life? And it's just I don't know. He's like the black folks in the 30s. Just like, come on, man, rebel, break the system. And you know why you remember this, Stefcho, how disappointed I was when I gave him some shrooms. And we all had, because, I had some mushrooms, some psychedelic mushrooms it was the beginning of this year. And I shared it with all my friends. And I gave it to Devi. And the next day, in the morning, because I was like watching him, and then he's like, he got tired, went to sleep. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to ask him what the experience was. The next day, I'm going to ask him. So the next day, and we all had these profound experiences. And I go, what happened? First thing he comes out of the room is he turns on the TV and starts rewinding to see all the games that he missed last night because he was tripping. I'm like, okay, this didn't work. This didn't work for him. Like, all the profound effects just didn't work on him,
But how it ended up in that situation? How did he?
I don't know. I mean, his dad must have been watching football. His brother watched football, and at some point, I think for him, it's some sort of a coping mechanism because I don't want to play a psychologist, but I think sometimes you get into a routine, like people get addicted to something. You get addicted to drinking not because drinking is bad, but because you have another issue and you kind of, drinking so you don't think about that.
Okay.
So my theory is this is his way of coping with other kind of things that he's disappointed in his life, I guess. And he's not really happy with. And so instead of facing those problems and solving them, he's like, I'm going to just watch a game, I think. I mean, it's people can get addicted to anything,
Mm-hmm.
I've watched some, like, one of those bizarre, like, TLC specials when a woman was addicted to chewing sand, or some like bizarre stuff, like crazy things. I mean, people are. It's such a weird thing because addiction is like a bug in your brain, you know, and you get stuck in some sort of loop, and it just satisfies you for some reason, and you keep doing it, and it's like it's fucked up.
But the addiction, I mean, so you are saying that it's two kind of, I guess the brain needs to focus only on one thing at a time. So instead of like the brain going into something that is like not good for that person is gonna use these elements so that it's always present in his brain or her brain.
I don't know. I mean, it at least in some cases, I think people drink or do drugs because they want to escape something. You know how. Well, I think it's a pretty well-known fact that people who come from a bad environment, who've been abused or who've been, had traumatic, what was that? Post-traumatic stress syndrome or stuff like this, war veterans and stuff, they start drinking or taking drugs because they want to stop thinking about this thing. So, and it doesn't have to be drugs or something. It could be anything else that's like this, that's engaging, satisfying, and kills the time. So it just like skips forward.
Like making a podcast.
Right. No, it's true. In the sense that I don't think I'm addicted to it yet, but I think I use it as a equally therapeutic way. Yeah. I mean, I always do all these projects that I was doing, the shows and stand up and all these videos that I showed you before and the podcast, just for me to be like, okay, this is a positive thing for me to do in my free time instead of just sitting around and thinking how miserable my life is, you know? You should try it.
Yeah. But well, I have 3 children, so they keep me busy.
You have 3 children?
Yeah, they keep me quite busy. Don't worry.
Wow. So how did that happen? Like I'm just curious about the second child. The point where between the second you go, okay, it's time for a third one. How does that happen? No. Like, how do you go from second to third?
Yeah, well, actually, in my case, all 3 of them were unplanned. It was was something escaped.
But wait a second. You know how kids work, right? How making kids works.
Yeah,
You're married. You have a wife. And how do you mean it's unplanned?
Yeah. But I made in a way, I was never planning, to have all those children. I thought I would have probably one.
And you remind them occasionally of that, right? You say, listen, just so you know, this was never a plan.
Well, but you cannot say, no, you were actually a mistake,
Yeah, why not, Be honest. Honesty is very important.
Well, it is important, but, well, you have to kind of sugarcoat the message. But definitely, I am quite busy during the day. But what you are saying about the kind of addictions, but what I was wondering is like, okay, what can be considered as a good addiction and not good addiction, or all of them are bad? Or
right, Stefcho, what do you think, man? Let me pour Andres another glass, and you tell us.
Okay, well, what is an addiction first, then?
So yeah, well, an addiction. What is an addiction?
What is, Stefcho, an addiction?
Something you can't stop doing.
You can't control yourself. Like the idea that this is like to a point where I might realize I should do something else, but I still keep doing that, right? Is that the point you're making?
Yeah. I mean, you just can't stop. You can't take a month off because...
Right. But it could be positive or no. I mean, because think about, for example, what we know about successful people and how achieving, some success at a very high level requires hours and hours of work and years of work. These people, in a way, they are workaholics. They're addicted to their job. So that might be positive.
I mean,
addicted to success.
I think, this is my opinion.
They will get more money, but is this good? How do you measure?
My opinion to answer Andres' question is that it's good in some regards and it's bad in others. So, for example, in this case, it would be good for their career, but it might be bad for their families, for example. A lot of these people are divorced. Their kids have never met them. They've never seen them because they've been working all the time. There's always a double side. There's always another side to the sword, I think. I think this, are
they happy or not? That's the basically.
But then, I mean, so addiction could be also understood like a habit or something like is more than a habit.
Okay, have you had any good addictions?
Right. I don't know, Andres. Have you had any good addictions?
Exactly.
Especially where you're coming from Colombia. Have you had any addictions at all?
Well, but that's what I wonder. I mean,
Because you keep asking about addictions, and I can't keep wondering, what is your personal interest in this?
no, because I always wanted to understand like how other people see addiction. I mean, a person who is addicted to whatever,
Right.
doesn't think that that's bad because otherwise would have stopped doing it, right?
Well, not necessarily. You know how first of all, you know how oftentimes they're in denial. Like an alcoholic would, you say, man, you gotta stop drinking. They're like, no, man, I'm controlling myself. I'm fine.
Okay.
I can stop at any point. Like this, I can stop it if I want. And they never do. First of all, there's denial. Second of all, there's sometimes they want to stop because they see like they've lost everything. Drug addicts who are homeless, who are basically lost everything. They sold their houses just to have money for the addiction. And they keep doing it. It's just, they can't help themselves. That's the problem with it. It's unreasonable, illogical. They realize, but they keep doing it anyway.
So
But
that
I
means yes. Sorry.
I mean, I've read that it's gene related. There is some addicting gene or some like smoking. There are a lot of people who really they don't get addicted. They smoke,
Right.
but they really stop and they don't smoke for 2 years, then they smoke again. But there are people who just can't stop. And
Yeah. It's interesting. It could be. I mean, there's a lot of research about like genes that we don't know how much of it. This goes back to your question with like do we have free will? Imagine that everything is defined by genes. I mean, I was listening to some time ago to.
Of course, I mean everything is right.
Right,
Genes are-
but for example.
Oh yeah,
I
genes
was-
and an environment. You can always define it.
Yes. But imagine even things like you wouldn't even suspect, like you playing a guitar might be a gene. You might have had a grandparent who was playing the violin because they didn't have guitars back then, but it was the same gene or something. I was listening to Richard Dawkins. Oh, this is the aquarium. by the way. So I was listening to Richard Dawkins. He's the biology guy who. This British evolutionary biologist, and he was making this point that perhaps gay people are gay because of a gene, because you're born gay, right? So what if there's a gene responsible for that? And his point was very interesting because he was saying, if that's true, because of society, how society was more homophobic in the past than it is now, maybe because now we're so inclusive and we allow gay people to be together and get married and all that. We'll run out of gay people because they don't have kids anymore.
No, but
because in the past,
yeah. So in the past,
they would hide it and they would marry sometimes and
ah.
sometimes have kids and pass the gene. And maybe it won't happen every generation. Maybe it will happen every once in 10 generations.
but
there'll be a gay person, right?
But what if some lion is gay or some animal? Other lions
Right.
don't care, so he won't hide it, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So the thing,
I
why
don't know. I
didn't
mean,
this
are there
disappear
gay
why
animals?
didn't this
Because in animals it's different. I don't know. There's some animals I think that are gay, but there's some animals there's like in dogs, for example. There's a lot of domination.
My point is why do people hide it? Because they're ashamed, because they're society, right?
Right. Exactly.
So what about before society, when they weren't ashamed? Why didn't they disappear?
Has there been a time before society for humans, like apes?
Yeah.
Well, apes they probably didn't care. By the way, yeah, they probably
so
just
why didn't it disappear before? It's my point.
Interesting. Well, because maybe it was
what I think is. I think it's a gene, but it's not that I studied biology, but maybe it's a gene that's a vulnerable gene that you still have to show something to it. Maybe in childhood someone has to show you his dick.
I don't know.
And then
I don't know.
And then
I
the
don't know,
gene
man.
triggers. But maybe if this didn't happen in your childhood, maybe you would be fine.
Yeah, be careful with your kids. Don't show them that. Old
So
Colombian-
that means it has been with us all along.
Yeah. Don't show them yourself naked. Don't show them snakes on a plane.
No,
Don't
but
show them
really-
Anaconda, the
No, but
movie.
really,
3D.
that's why porn is prohibited, right? Until you're some age. Now they can't really control it, but this, when you're a child, all your this sexual.
I don't think so. I mean, I think the medical study, the medical research shows that you're gay, but like you're born gay. Otherwise, all the conversion therapy would work, and it doesn't. And they have stopped all the conversion therapy. You know that
But
there were
do
these
we-
camps in the States before that they would try to convert people, like religious camps. They would basically torture gay people. Like, come on,
Well, the thing is,
stop being gay, snap out of it, and it doesn't work.
do we have more gay people now than before?
I don't know. We have more openly gay people, but I don't know.
Yeah, so that I mean, if
Yeah, exactly. It would be super hard to study that because in the
Yeah.
past you don't have data. No one would
Yeah.
reliably say, "Yeah, sure, I'm gay." But now people are like, "Yeah, more honest about it, and still I think they're not completely honest. So I don't know.
But that's a good question, actually. I always wonder. There is the perception that there is more gay people now, but as you are saying,
Right.
it's like there are more people open to say
Yeah,
in order
exactly.
to accept.
Man, I remember as a kid, I was growing up in my hometown. Stefcho, have you ever seen any openly gay person in Gorna? Like I remember
No.
in Velikotano, in my hometown, I think once I saw a couple in my 19 years there. And no one would even notice, like no one would give a fuck about them. It was like, but they didn't want to show it. Like, I'm not saying we were living in this place where like, oh, these monsters and masculine, poisonous masculinity, and people would stone them to that, but they just didn't want to show it. And I don't know, I was thinking about it, like also, it's a funny thing because, in the past I was much more religious. I was a Catholic, I was raised as Catholic, and, this is the only thing that I don't agree with in terms of like the church's position on it. Because, the church's position is this is wrong.
Yeah.
Gay people are wrong. The church's position on sex in general, I don't think is very healthy.
Yeah.
Because what they say is, okay, a man and a woman should be together only to procreate because this is how God envisioned it.
Yeah.
So if you're just having fun, in other words, if you don't commit, like if you're not married, the problem with being married is that that's a commitment. So if you're not marrying, then you're just doing it for fun, which is not the way that God envisioned it, right? And so the problems with this is, first of all, how they torture gay people, but also how they also like the whole like there were some articles about how in Africa there are a lot of Christian states and a lot of people converted, and they're very, very strongly religious. And the position of the church is that if you're doing it the right way, meaning like the way God envisioned, means no protection.
Yes.
In Africa and the AIDS, there's articles that try to point that because of the church's position, AIDS has spread much more in Africa than it would otherwise. Because they're saying don't use protection, right? Because this is how God wants you to procreate. And it's funny, especially for gay people. I even want to make this point. And I don't know if I'm right, but this is what I think. Think about this. All the outrage with all the, child molestation in the church and all the priests and all this stuff. Think about this. If I'm a gay person and at the same time I'm very religious, I love God and I go to church. What are my options? If God tells me and by the way, the position of the church changed. So in the past, they were saying, because you can sin in 3 ways. You can sin in 4. You can sin by doing something, but also you can sin by not doing something.
Yeah,
omission. You can sin by thinking and by saying something, right? So even if I'm thinking about another guy, I'm already sinning.
Yeah.
And the church changed this in the 70s. I think it was the end of the 70s when the medicine, also the medical study changed. And so the medical community discovered, and then they changed the definition of what is gay. And they changed it from I think it was before it was like homosexualism was sort of like in a category of diseases, like a mental dysfunction.
Okay.
And they changed it to a condition in the 70s. So the medical community said now it's not like having schizophrenia, but it's a condition. It's like being born with 6 fingers. It's rare, but it happens.
Okay.
It's rare, but it happens in whatever percent of the population.
What about the other things like zoophilia, pedophilia? Are these
Right,
conditions
exactly.
now?
So let me just finish this. So the point is, the church updated that, and they said, okay, since the medical society agrees that it's not a disease, it's a condition, then we can't say that it's wrong to think about it. So we'll remove this. Now it's okay to think about it, but it's still not okay to act upon it. So the church said now if you act or say something or do something, then it's a sin. So imagine I'm this religious gay person. What are my options? Well, one option is I can go into the church. I can become the clergy. Why? Because then I have the celibate, so I'm not allowed to have sex with anyone.
Yeah.
And then all the time I'll just pray and I'll focus on this and fine. But that this is a disaster in the making, because this is like, I'm suppressing these emotions. And if you know anything about psychology, is if you're suppressing something, it's gonna backfire somehow. One or another, it's gonna backfire.
It's gonna come out soon.
And what if it backfires through you have a cute altar boy and you fuck him instead? You know what I mean? What if the church is actually responsible for this because of their fucking stupid restrictions?
Yeah, the repression.
That repression is causing that shit. And they and also think about it, how ironic it is and hypocrite of them it is to have all these possibly gay celibate guys who've never had any relationship or experience, a normal human experience with the opposite sex or with the same sex, to then preach you about family. And they tell you how you should behave with your wife and what you should do with your children from this guy. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. And then what Stefcho said also. Then where do you say the border? I mean, it could go into like zoophilia and all these other states.
The thing is, that's how evolution works. You have two genders, and that's how they multiply.
Yeah, it's unnatural for sure, but it's just
been
it
around
occurs.
for millions. Also, you have also mutations and some other.
Yeah. It's exactly like, for example, albino people. You know, you have what is this, a melanoma, or what was it called, melanin in the skin to protect you from the sun, right? And this gives you the skin color. But there are some people, 1 in a million or whatever, who are born without it, and they're albinos.
Okay,
It happens. It's not a disease. It's not contagious.
But it's not
it just
normal.
happens.
It's not normal.
Well, it's normal but rare, I would say. Because it's normal in a big scale, right? It's normal to have, for example...
No,
like
it's not normal. It's bad for you.
Yeah, well, exactly. So your skin is not protected. These people are vulnerable, but in the sense of... I don't know how to define normal in this word, because in a statistical distribution, it will happen X amount of percent of cases.
It's an outlier.
No, that's
an outlier.
Yeah. No, but that's not how you define normal.
How do you define it?
You
say
No, how it was meant to be. Like, you have arms to use them. If you're born without arms, that's not normal.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but this is where people would take offense. Like, if you say that to a gay person, they'll go, ouch. Like, this is the point.
But what about the pedophiles?
Right. So my response to this would be, because of course every day, at least for a couple of minutes, I think about
the difference is about consent.
I've thought about this actually. So what I think it's the point where your actions cause harm to another person or yourself. This is where it's dangerous and you should limit. Like, for example, if I'm gay and my partner is gay and we're both on the same page, I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want. But if I'm like a pedophile, even if this is like, again, from that perspective, it's an outlier situation. It happens in nature, but that can have terrible consequences for the kid.
Yeah.
And for its health and mental and physical health. So that's when you say, fuck no. This is
but still,
we treat you, we whatever, we do whatever we want.
But still, you can be one and not act on it. It's still not normal. It's still out of.
No, definitely no. Yeah, you're right. And then the other case, like, I don't know, these guys who fuck trees or whatever they fuck. I don't know. I don't care about. Imagine you walking through the woods and you see a guy fucking a tree. I'll be like, good for you, man. Come on. How much work do I have to... Like, you had to come all the way from Colombia to Malta to meet your wife. This guy just goes to the forest and has a bunch of girlfriends waiting for him out there. They don't even run away from him. How cool is that?
But then what you were mentioning, like, okay, where is the line in which, okay, this is what we are talking about, what normal and what normal is not. So you were saying, okay, so something like it affects or it hurts someone outside, right? So then, like, okay, taste of the tree, so it's not hurting the trees?
I guess it's not. As far as we know, it's not hurting him. I mean, unless he's making a hole in it. That would hurt him.
Because the problem is that really, if you're gay, of course, society can accept you, but still, your father probably won't. So maybe that's some problem in some way.
Well, like, for example, in my case, I mean, I have 2 boys, and sometimes it crosses to my mind, what would I do if one of my children saying,
I think every man ever thought about this at some point.
Like, what would I do? What would I feel? Like, it's like, wow. I mean, I try to be a bit open-minded and say, okay, I mean, and that's another point I wanted to say. So based on all the things that we have discussed, it's like it's part of the nature, it's part of our genes, and perhaps so some people that gets activated, let's call it, and that's why they are gays. But I don't know, there is something outside of that, really something like it triggers.
Yeah, is there? I don't know.
But they have to figure it out, because if there is such a thing that triggers it, they have to stop it. It has to be stopped. Right. It has to not be acceptable.
What if it's going to be the opposite? And what if all the gay people start a war and be like, we're going to trigger it, we're going to play the trigger signal on the radio, and everyone is going to turn gay now?
Maybe Maybe if at some point they
This
get
is
too
such a
many.
great idea for a movie. Think about it. Like this is such a great idea for a horror movie.
But what do they win from this? I don't know.
I don't know. They win. I mean, that's like a lot of times. This is like the whole like leftist movement now. It's they don't win anything, but it's just about. There's a lot of bullying. I don't think they win anything. They just win the fact that you're unhappy makes them happy sometimes. I'm not saying this. I'm not talking anything bad about gay people at the moment, but in general, this idea of like all these ultra left feminists, all the male bashing, like you're a man, white man, by definition you're bad. Like whatever you say, it's wrong.
Yeah.
You gotta suffer for what your ancestors did to us. Did your ancestors hurt this feminist or something? No, but it's just illogical, just punishment, just like random punishment that makes them happy for some reason, some sort of a sick domination scenario where it turns them on. I don't know.
I think the best way
Yes.
would be to somehow accept it as it's okay, it's not bad, but not promote it. It's completely normal, you know.
Yeah.
But I have another thought. I mean, probably after some alcohol, I had that thought. But like, okay, so we are seeing that like the gay people are, well, probably it's not true, but it's increasing. But what I was thinking is evolution. Okay, let's say like 100 years from now, if we don't kill each other because of global warming, whatever, I think there will be much more gay people, and so
Really?
those genes will continue and continue.
Why do you think there'll be more? Like, okay, if we knew for a fact now all of the gay people, we knew them. It's an X number. All the ones that are open and the ones that are hiding it. Are you saying that you believe that in 100 years that number will be bigger?
Yeah.
Proportionally
Yeah.
bigger?
If-
Really?
if they
That's
multiply
what
it,
the
then
thought-
Why do you think so?
The thought that it crossed my mind, like it's something like, okay, so the evolution is like, because there are these elements that were there dormant, let's call them, and now they are coming out, you know, so more people will become aware, and that awareness will increase throughout time.
What if it's something else? Stefcho, you mentioned this. You mentioned this too. What Stefcho, you said it's unnatural because nature evolution works in such a way that a man and a woman. But what if maybe it's even more than 100 years from now? Maybe it's a far future.
Yeah.
But at some point, and this I've read a lot of sci-fi books, and it is a topic. In some books there is this topic of like a future where there's a lot of gay people, and the reason for it is this: what if this natural state that we know of a man and a woman, this is how it works, this is evolution, everything. What if we come to a future where we're so dominant over nature that we don't have to rely on this natural way anymore? We have cloning, we have the environment is so good, we can pick genes, we can modify humans, so we can be gay if we want to, so that like then people are gay because they don't have to be straight anymore. You know what I mean? Because you can still have kids by cloning yourself or like whatever, creating some copy
yeah,
of Brad
well,
Pitt
let's get there first, and then think. I mean, why do we care about
Well,
this
we will
so
not
much?
see that probably.
right? Especially because
Oh, but
they'll
that's
kill us.
yeah, but
They'll
that's
say we'll be targeted then.
But then the world will be very different. Our issues now will be irrelevant.
anyway,
But now,
Andres,
now it's not normal.
right.
We can't
Andres, I
call-
wanted to ask you about this. Because we haven't even discussed the Colombian part.
Okay.
What years are we talking about when you were a kid growing up in Colombia? Which city is this?
No, I was living in Bogota,
Okay.
the capital.
In the capital. Which years would you say, like in your teenage years? What was like? What is this? The 80s, the 90s?
So yeah, well, actually, I get this a lot. I mean, and thanks to Netflix and to the series of Narcos. And
Yeah, I'm just trying to pinpoint the moment. Like, were you there when this whole thing was going on? When
Yeah, well, I mean, this thing of the drugs. I mean, Colombia became in the picture internationally was in the 90s.
Right.
At that moment, I was a teenager. But what happened is that the actual issues were happening in Medellin. It's
Yes,
another
yeah.
city, which is far away from Bogota. However, there were some consequences when there were these bombs going on in Bogota. We had a
right.
lot.
When Pablo attacked the government and he set a
Yes.
bomb in what was it? The state house or what was
Yeah, there was the it's called the Palace of Justice.
it? Right.
So where
Oh
there-
yes, I remember this.
Yeah, and many other bombs. So that because they were targeting judges and
Yeah.
some politicians. Some politicians were killed, and that happened also in Bogota.
So how did that affect like a normal person? I mean, I'm guessing. I might not be right, but I'm guessing that you were not involved. Your family was not involved in
No,
in
that's
the business.
I need to make this a statement.
Right.
I am not family of Pablo Escobar, okay? And not like many other people think. Like probably 98% of the Colombians are family
Yeah.
of Pablo Escobar.
Because it makes
No.
sense. Like you came here, you, out of all the countries, man, you decided to come to Malta, where it's all about gambling and fucking Bitcoin and all the sketchiest shit, man. It's all the
Yeah.
Anyway. So you're not involved in this. My question is, did you feel any effect of when this was happening, when the bombs were going on in Bogota and everything? Did you have any? Did you feel anything in your family? Was this on the table every day discussing, these issues? Was your family afraid for you? And
Yeah, well, actually, yes, of course. I mean, it was a period of time in which people were very afraid to go on the street because you didn't know if you were going back home or not. There could be a bomb anywhere.
Right.
So that affected me. Like, okay, we couldn't go outside home. Maybe like going to school and come back, and that's it. Not like playing outside, etc. So there was that being afraid, and because of that. Yes.
Did you lose anyone? Like,
did
Like
you
a
lose
friend?
anyone? I think. Yeah.
No, thankfully no. But for example, one of the big bombs was almost close by. I mean, it broke a lot of windows in our house, but there was no like life. But yeah, and because of that, so many people in Colombia really hate this about the drugs because it was something that affected them directly, and also because it created this stereotype that is all over the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
But do you know if this is still happening? If Colombia is still a big player in that field, or
well, there are some. I mean, now Mexico is the one
yes,
on top of all.
and
this.
also like the Middle East was also like I think, but I don't know if it was cocaine or I don't know. I haven't researched.
But now Mexico is the one handling all this stuff. Of course, unfortunately, what happens in Colombia is that the soil is very fertile, and instead, and also we have a lot of poverty. So
Right.
poor people, they tell them, okay, so if you plant some coca, we give you money. If you plant something like rice, he will get much less money. So then they have to decide, okay.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, there are still some things going on, but there
And
are
also-
in a much less scale.
But also, what you say, like people were angry about this thing and the stereotype. But I think not all of them. Some people maybe have almost this nostalgia now, looking back, and it's like, oh man, we were making money, and I mean, Pablo's image was this. He was helping the people. It's,
And you know that he proposed to the government to pay the national debt.
Right.
He had all that money to pay the national debt of a country.
Wow.
And the country say no. But anyway.
No thanks. No thanks. Well, there you go, bomb instead.
Yeah, actually, we should have said yes. But anyway. But so yes, of course, that affects.
Well, they got plenty of money, to be honest. I mean, the government, one way or another. I mean, specific people got plenty of money from that.
Oh yeah, of course. But what you are saying about the nostalgia, I think is more like exposure and being famous. So some people, unfortunately, they think that because of the drugs, they can be famous, and now they are using that to be famous, but not in the right way. Like I remember this. It was something that it made me sad, actually. There were this. I was in my honeymoon, actually, and I was in Toscana area,
nice.
and so then there were these people with T-shirts. Like we miss Pablo Escobar. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like trying to promote something so bad.
And of course, you went there and beat them, and
No. Well, I didn't do that, but I felt very angry. I felt very angry. I'm so sad that actually that is happening. So, but anyway, but then this nostalgia is not really a nostalgia. They are trying to make money out of something that is well known around the world.
Right.
So, like for example, now there is the Narcos of Netflix, and there are more movies and things coming out trying to squeeze more money out of that.
I was reading that I think Pablo's brother, who's still alive, was suing Netflix for this. Like he wanted some money from them.
Of course.
Yeah,
of
like
course.
all kinds of yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's just about the money. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's something that is going to affect people if you can make money out of it.
But it's such a bizarre thing to me because this is a business that's all just profiting on, hurting people. Because the addiction is terrible, and knowing this, you going into that business knowing, okay, people are gonna die. Even if everything goes right, people are gonna die. If I make more money, more people are gonna die.
Yeah.
On the streets, somewhere in another country, in another side of
Yeah.
the world, and in a way, every business is, every good business is a little bit heartless in that sense that they just care about the money. Like we at work and any other place, you just like look at numbers, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about consequences.
Yeah,
And
what
they're like, oh,
happens
we're real
after?
professionals. We just think about selling this Coke and figuring out the best way and all that. It's funny because it's such a pure example of how heartless a business could be. Such a successful business that makes people so rich and powerful.
Yeah. But then is as you are saying, I mean, it happens also for any other type of companies.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Like, okay, there is this big company making more millions, etc. But they don't care what happens with the people actually.
And that's why you have all these social responsibility programs and all this stuff. And that Pablo was pretty responsible. What you're saying, offering to pay off the debt, or helping his community, especially around Medellin, all that. Anyway, but do you go back home often now, or how often do you go back to Colombia?
No, unfortunately, not that often.
Do you have a lot of family there, like
No,
brothers,
just
sisters?
close family. My brother, my mother. That's it.
They're there. They haven't left.
No, they are still there. They are a bit struggling right now. Financial situation. South America right now is passing through a very difficult financial situation. Not because that's the really strange thing. I mean, South America has a lot of natural resources, etc. It's just the corruption that is so bad there.
Right.
Really,
It
really
reminds
bad.
me of Bulgaria. It's very similar to Bulgaria. I mean, Bulgaria is a beautiful place, and it has everything. It's a small place, but it has a little bit of everything, and it'd be so much better if it wasn't for corruption and pollution. And
But yes, it's again the business, if there is a way of profiting somehow without thinking of the consequences on the rest of the people, that's what people will do, well, normally.
right.
Yeah.
And another thing you were talking about, because at work occasionally we pretend that we know each other, and we don't. Not every day do we avoid it, ourselves like we
Yeah.
normally do. And we were speaking about this, and you told me that you studied what was it, physics? You studied in university, or
Yeah, well,
before you got into the gaming industry? And you
yeah,
were-
no, actually, I mean, I graduated from electronics engineering, but also I did physics. I was actually studying 2 degrees at the same time, and
Nice.
it came to a point in which
That's back in Colombia.
yeah, back in Colombia. But it came to a point I couldn't manage the 2 things at the same time, so I had to give up one, and so I had to give up physics.
And the more practical on the engineering you can.
Exactly. So I had to choose the engineering part because there was more prospective, options to get a good job, etc. So, but physics is something that I really miss a lot. I really want to get to know more about it. And we had this conversation once about some physical thing about the particles, etc.
Yeah, we had a physical thing between us. No,
about
yeah.
about the particles. That really interested
Yeah.
me, and it's something that I feel a bit of a passion about.
Yeah, me too. I think because I know nothing about it, and maybe because I don't know anything about it, it seems so magical to me. And I think if I went back to school, the one thing I would really focus on more than anything would be physics. Now, if I think about it, looking back,
Really?
I'd be just I think
It
I would go
wouldn't-
back and just focus on
It
physics.
wouldn't be your social skills.
Wow. Let me play another commercial just because of that. When you can't make yourself out of a terrible, disgraceful comment like this, it's good to play making your way out of this commercial. It's a special commercial, Segway commercial. Segways are those devices you ride on. Yeah. We sell them now in Africa because no one was buying them in the civilized world. So go buy them at segway.com. Makes no sense. I don't know why you're laughing.
Yeah.
It's so kind to laugh.
I'm
but
sorry,
it-
that was
normally
that
you
was
should-
that was a projection actually. That's what I would fix. So, yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Gotta go. It's appear.
Oh, you gotta okay.
Projection.
Go
It's
somewhere.
called, right? When I attribute my problems to you.
Yes. Wow. That was good, man. That was good. Thanks, man. Okay, go get something, whatever you want to get. I'm gonna probe Andres' mind more. So yeah, actually, it was very interesting because a couple episodes ago on this podcast we were talking about something with another guy. You remember? I don't know when you joined. You remember Kieran? He was working with us for a while. Anyway, I'm gonna remind. It was another guy who was working with us for a while. Then he changed, went to another company. We were talking about language, and it reminded me. The conversation led us to talk about like information encrypted in some sort of form, traveling through space and time, and about the whole idea of the SETI program, and they're looking up for signals from space and just like. Looking for some sort of contact from another civilization. And I read this book by Stanislav Lem. I was talking about it. It's called His Master's Voice, which is about this civilization sending a signal. And I was super surprised because on Joe Rogan last week, there was forgot the name of the guy. I think Penrose. He was like a very famous physicist, Stephen Hawking level.
Penrose.
Yeah. So he was asked by Joe, and Joe asked him, "What do you think about aliens?" And he said that he believes that the most realistic option would be the same option that I described, that was described in this book. Here's the option. So he says, what we know about our civilization and how we've progressed, even if we assume there's another civilization out there that in the same time, since the beginning of time, since the Big Bang, have had more luck, more resources to evolve much more than we have, it's still impossible for them to have reached us, because they must have, like, I don't know, assimilated the energy of multiple stars to even send a signal that would reach us. I mean, the amount of progress that this civilization would have to make to reach us in that short of time, a space of time, would be impossible. But he said, if you think about it logically, maybe that time will come in the future. But we know that maybe that time already happened in the past.
Yeah.
Because if there was something before the Big Bang, and this is what this Master's Voice, this book was based on, which is that theory that, okay, Big Bang happens, creates a universe. Universe keeps expanding.
Yeah.
You know, in the center of every galaxy, there's a big black hole. The big black hole starts sucking in all the stars and planets and mass. Eventually, all this entropy in space ends. Every planet, everything, and all you have left is those massive black holes. These massive black holes then, which normally have a very low temperature, now become the hottest things in space, because the surrounding temperature is lower, because there's no stars left in the universe, so it's just black holes. So they start radiating. That's the Hawking radiation that Stephen Hawking discovered, and they radiate that heat, and at the end they explode, and they create a new kind of Big Bang event.
But so they have to come together again.
Yeah, I mean, they either, I don't know what, I mean, there's different theories. Some people think that they come together. Some people say, I mean, that they kind of suck each other into one big black hole, and that explodes or whatever happens. But either way, this is a cyclical process. So there's Big Bang, there's this entropy, there's another Big Bang.
Yeah.
And if this is the case,
second law of thermodynamics, it's
Right.
gonna happen. Yes.
So if this happens and there's another Big Bang, this means that before this universe there was another universe, and at the end of this universe, before all the black holes sucked in all the energy and all that, there might have been some civilization that was advanced enough that would send a signal that they knew that the universe was coming to an end. I mean, this is very kind of fishy sci-fi, but just follow me for a second. They knew that the universe is coming to an end. They're very advanced. So they encode information into photons, because this is the only thing that they can beam out into, like, the next universe through the black hole, whatever. I don't know. I don't understand, like, the dynamics of it. But
well, suppose photons cannot escape because the light cannot escape the black hole.
Yeah, but I mean, there was some sort of explanation. I don't know what it was, but they encode information in some particles that can travel through, or they get into that one point where all things gather together and then explode again, but contain the same information when they go.
Okay.
And so this would be the only civilization that we can get in touch with at the moment, and according to Penrose, that this was the only scenario he envisions, that if we have the right equipment and we can read it, then we can probably see that there was something before, and because everything else to him is less likely to happen.
So that means if we happen to come across that message, it's of a civilization that is extincted.
Yes, a civilization. But here's the thing: like, this is the master's voice. What if that signal actually is more than a signal? What if the information in this signal is so kind of fertile that it actually promotes life?
Okay.
What if this information gets to Earth or other planets and creates life? And what if we are actually the children of this previous civilization created by this signal? Let's say you know that you're going to die, and you say, I mean, think about it. Even procreation is the same thing. The DNA contains some information from your body, like transferred in the sperm, and you inseminate an egg, and it have another offspring based on information that you send, right? So what if this civilization sends this signal that creates life in the next universe, and that life is the same as them, or influenced by them in some way, maybe better even than them, because you want to create, let's say, if you know that you made some mistakes, you might encrypt some information for that next civilization to avoid those mistakes, or to be better or stronger in some way.
Wow.
It's very bizarre, but it's
I have two questions.
Yes.
So first is, who created the first civilization then?
right.
Yeah.
They'll be in the same position as us, something.
It was God.
And the other thing is, I also read this theory that they're either aliens and we have to be discovered by now, or there aren't. What if they are, but they haven't discovered us yet? What about that one?
No, I mean, there are many things. I mean, suppose, how can we know that
They say
we
it's
were
likely,
created
it's unlikely.
here in Earth?
Yeah, the thing is, the universe it's huge. Maybe they are.
Well, how do we know that? Andres said a question. How do we know that we were created on Earth? You mean, how do we know that we're not created somewhere else and sent here?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We need to break this down.
But the thing is, it doesn't answer the real question of what created them. It's just
okay.
It's just moving the question one way back.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a very interesting thing. Like, imagine this is like, like this whole idea of.
Sure, it's possible. It's possible that we're not created on Earth, but still the question remains: where were we?
Well, yeah. So that's what I was thinking. I mean, we are aliens.
I love these speechless moments when it's like, it's not because it's just like our brains are so incapable of comprehending the possibilities here, and well. It's like when I did hot yoga. I did hot yoga this week. Did I tell you?
Yeah, you told me.
What?
And I came out of this.
How is it called?
Hot yoga. It's hot. It's basically yoga in a hot room. And you're sweating your balls out. And for 90 minutes, you're stretching like crazy. And you're supposed to keep these balanced poses. They're insane. Like, impossible to keep these fucking bizarre fucking poses. Very alien. This is another proof that we're aliens.
How hot was the hot yoga?
It's like a sauna. It's a little maybe less hot than sauna. But it's like a sauna hot. And so I'm sweating like crazy, and I come out of there like I almost die there. And I come out, it was like after my first trip, man, after the first mushrooms I ate. I'm looking at everything in awe. I'm looking at a tree, and I go, oh, wow, look at this tree. Wow. And I'm like, I'm happy that I'm alive. It's incredible. It's, I think, what Devi feels when he watches football.
Maybe they had something in the air.
Okay, so my point is, what if these aliens... they created us, or what if aliens came in and gave us hot yoga and left? and some guy in India, and he came in and taught everyone how. I don't know, but I don't know if we were created somewhere else, because the thing is, if we were created in this kind of shape, it's a very fragile shape. Yeah. So how do we got transported here and survived? And for these creatures who are transporting us, you would expect them to overcome this issue of the form.
Yeah. Also,
So they must be, so why are they creating something so inferior to them?
also, what is up with all the dirt? Why is everything so dirty? Why didn't they create us clean?
Right. But I like the whole H.P. Lovecraft kind of cosmic terror idea. Have you ever read H.P. Lovecraft? He was a sci-fi writer that was very influential. It was in the beginning of the century, and the guy was very paranoid. The guy was
I
very
have a book by him, I think.
yeah. He was kind of a sick individual in many ways. So he was coming up with these bizarre ideas, and his idea and all of his books are kind of related. They're different stories, but they happen in the same sort of universe, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Wow. Okay.
So, like,
So
you're
we
watching
had
Ant-Man, but at the end there's the cameo of Hulk.
It's the
right?
guy who inspired Stephen King, right?
Exactly, yeah. This is
No.
the guy. Stephen King was really
okay.
his big fan. So this guy was had this idea that what if there was the aliens? Check this out. Who come to Earth like vastly, like in a vast past.
Advance?
No,
Okay.
in the far past, and they create life on Earth. And Earth is a lifeless place, like
Yeah.
Mars. They come in and they're these powerful creatures. They come in and they create life for food or entertainment or some hard work.
Harvests.
Yeah, I mean they create life because they can, because they have the capacity to create life. Just because they want to harvest, like they want to eat us, they want to have the hunt animals, or they want to have some animals that will help them move some stuff and build, or just for entertainment and watch them and be like, oh look, there's some animals there,
So
and then they
we're a
leave.
barn then.
Right, and they leave, and then eventually we evolve to a point where we're like, oh, we're the best, oh, we're so great, and then we we discover, and usually in his books, at this point, someone discovers some remnants of that old civilization, and they go, oh, what the fuck? But it was like it wasn't yesterday that it came here. They came millions of years ago.
Yeah.
They might have started old life on Earth, and then they left, and the life evolved and went its own way, and now you have all kinds of life, and you have us. And now we see these things in our minds, and people lose their minds in these books because they can't comprehend. They get in touch with this cosmic terror, this incredible. Sometimes they find bodies of these creatures at the bottom of the sea, and they are so, even dead for millions of years, they're radiating this energy or whatever that just chills people to their bones, and they lose their minds. Always in his books, like it was very terrifying, but because
Too
they're
many
almost.
mushrooms.
There's almost like gothic, like almost like Edgar Allan Poe, like gothic horror. Like it's early horror where everything is just hopeless.
Okay.
Not the modern horror where at the end the guy just turns around and kills everyone. He's like, oh yes, we're safe. No, the kind of horror where everyone is just like always just crying in a corner.
So, but what's the end of the story?
Well, always the end is either the guy loses his mind, or they go, oh my God, what's happening? Or they go to some mental asylum, or they find out that they're the descendant of that creature. I mean, it's all kinds of weird stuff. Like, it's bizarre, man. There was this one, this Dagon story, which is kind of a mixture of his ideas and also influenced by some folk tales and some what do you call it? Mythology, especially the Nordic mythology. Okay. There's this Dagon kind of creature. There's a lot, and a lot of usually sea countries have sea creatures mythologies, right? Yeah. Like the Greeks would have a Poseidon and all kinds of monsters in the sea, right? So there's oftentimes this myth of a creature that is evil, living in the water, and because people would look at the water and the sea, like in Malta, in a place so dependent on the water, and they will say, oh wow, today that creature is not happy because there's storms. Oh wow, now this creature is not happy because there's not fish enough. We didn't, or it broke our ship. So they would throw stuff in the water for sacrifices, right? Yeah. So in this story, there's this guy who ends up in a shipwreck. and he gets on this island, and he finds out like all these houses, and it's like weird. The architecture is old, like bizarrely old houses and stuff, but there are people, they're hiding from him, they're behind windows and stuff. It's like, what is going on here? And he finds some inn, and he, like a hotel or something, he goes in, and then at night people start coming out of their houses, and they'll go to the sea, and it's like, what is going on here? And then he finds out, so this island, like in retrospect, many years ago, there were all these people that were just dependent on the fish that they catch and everything in the sea. And one day some weird character comes out of the sea, and he says, okay, guys, check this out. this Dagon creature monster kind of huge thing in the water, demands that you give him sacrifice because otherwise you're not gonna get any food. And they go, whatever. So and then they don't get any food, and they just start throwing in food and stuff and whatever the sacrifice is, like they kill someone or they send I think they send some women in the water or something, and they start praying to him. They change the churches to Dagon churches, and they change the religion. And so then he starts rewarding them, gives them not just food, but gives them like literally throws away gold on the beach. Like this creature throws away these golden stuff, and everyone's wearing gold and so, this is great. But then after a while it stops, and so he says again another sacrifice. So they send another person and another, and then eventually he doesn't kill them. He kind of replaces them with these fish people. Like they send him a person, and he brings back this kind of the same person, but it's not the same.
Okay.
And at the end, this guy realizes he's on this monster island with these sea creature monsters. They're all just, these children of Dagon, and they fuck in the water, whatever. It's weird stuff happens. But at the end, as usual in his stories, it's always a very negative ending. He finds out that he actually is a descendant of the same people, but he escaped. What? Spoilers.
I'm just
so
saying,
so he escaped, and he came back not because by accident, but because subconsciously he was drawn to the place, because this was where he came from, and at the end he ends up as one of the fish people. So yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, Stefcho. I hope you're not intending on reading this. Stefcho hates spoilers. He hates me when when I tell a story, I spoil it completely. But that's the point.
Yeah, I don't know why do you do this. What's the point? Why do you?
Because when you tell a story, you want to tell this what's the point of the story?
Yeah.
What's the moral of the story? So you gotta get to the end to be able to conclude. Oh, that's the point of it, right?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I prefer reading books and getting to the end myself.
So, Bogi, I wanted to ask you.
Yes, please.
What is your opinion about... Okay, so we are talking about aliens and the Big Bang and all this stuff. So, what about parallel universes?
That's such a cool thing.
So, what do you think, and what are your stories? Because I know that you read quite a lot, and I'm very interested in your opinion on that.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't personally favor this very much, because I think this whole, the scientific basis for this seems to all come from like the quantum physics.
Yeah, exactly.
So all of that, like all these different states of the particles, depending on how you view them. And so the possibility that if you're not observing it, then it could be both at the same time. So the Schrodinger cat and all this stuff, right? So from there, people assume, okay, then maybe there's another universe, since there's the both possibilities until we watch it. But the thing about it is that we have no evidence besides that theoretical level of it. Yeah. That we have never observed both dead and alive cats. We always see either one. So we always seem to see one dimension. But at the same time, if there was another dimension, we might not be able to perceive it. Like we wouldn't be at the level of perceiving it.
But at a physical level, we cannot perceive it, but could be at another level we can perceive it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really honestly don't know. I don't think we have any more firm evidence for it, just besides that theoretical thing. But it always starts with a theory, right? It always starts with theory, and then at some point they prove it. So maybe, the whole string theory, and then all the string theory, by the way, the way that ended up with like 11 dimensions or whatever the number was, the latest number.
11, I think, yes.
It was not what you think, like someone would start counting them and, oh, wait, what, 2, 3, 4, what, 11? No, it wasn't like this. What was happening was they were doing some sort of equation, and it didn't work. So they kept changing some parameters. And at the end, the only way it worked was by changing the dimensions to 11. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's not the best way to arrive at this number, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're trying to solve a problem, and I'm asking you, how much is 2 plus 2? And your answer is 5. Your answer is 5. And I said, no, it's wrong. And you go, no, but in my case, plus means plus 1. Like, you can't change the problem itself, right? You can't change the conditions. Mm-hmm. But that's what they did in a way.
No, but
they said the conditions are now it's 11 dimensions, so now it works.
No, not really.
Yeah, sort of.
The condition was if there was some case where x was the number of dimensions, then they just guessed it. So it might still be correct, but
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, again, if there
If
were
everything
more,
else is correct, which probably
that's
maybe it's not.
the other thing is with dimensions. The thing, well, at least for now, we know it like with okay, 1 dimension, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, and then time being the 4th dimension. Even at time level, like we can already, it's theoretical. We can perceive it. We know it works, but we already can't live in the 4th dimension. Like there's no. I don't know. So my point is, like, dimensions, they're not the way you think, like, oh, there's this world, and there's a second world, and there's a third world. They kind of live on top of each other. So the 5th dimension assumes that these all are in place, and then there's a 5th on top, and then there's a 6th one. So we would be a part of that world.
That's something else. I think that's a different question.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
you have 1 dimension, which is a point. You have 2 dimensions, which is a line. Then you
Yeah.
have a fuck. How's it called? Anyway.
Yeah,
Then
when
you
we
have
were doing
3
the
dimensions. It's dimensions in geometry. That's not the same as
yeah.
another
No,
universe.
no. The point I was making is the same thing that we were discussing when Ricardo was here, as you can very clearly remember that. You remember when we were discussing this whole example with like the table? You know, if there was a 2-dimensional space on this table,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are giving this is like a Neil deGrasse Tyson example he gives all the time because it's so easy to demonstrate. If this is a 2-dimensional space and there are 2-dimensional creatures like these ants crawling around, like if you're in the 3rd dimension, they can't perceive you. They can never see you.
Yeah.
But you can. So if there's a 4th dimension, then they can possibly see us, but we can't.
Yeah.
But we're at the same level. At the same time, we are in their dimension. Like we are part of, like this 2-dimensional space is part of the 3-dimensional space.
Yeah. We are in the same space.
We're in the same space, but we're sort of on top of them. So there's something
we're
on
not.
top of us. Maybe there's something on top of us, and they see us, but we don't. But they can affect us. We can't. Like these creatures, you can like if I place this glass on the table, then all of a sudden these ants will have to crawl around it.
Go around,
They
yeah.
know it's there. Now all of a sudden, boom, there's a
Something
glass.
happened there, yes.
Shit, but they don't know how big it is, if it's a glass, if it's filled with wine or beer. You know, they don't see anything. They don't see that I'm holding the glass. So we should look for abnormalities in our space that will be like putting the glass in this sort of stuff. And so far, I don't know if there are. I mean, there probably are things that we can't explain, but are those things that are caused by another dimensional creature reaching into our dimension, interfering with our dimension? I don't know. Also, would all of those dimensions support life? Because we know, okay, we have this 2-dimensional space, but we don't have 2-dimensional creatures. There are no 2-dimensional creatures. Even ants are 3-dimensional.
Really?
I mean, ants are. I mean, it's a 3D creature when it
Yeah,
has a head, like right. So it's not like it goes on the table, but it can go on the laptop. If I put my finger, it goes up my finger, right? So we don't know of any 2-dimensional creatures in our world. So then, even the 2-dimensional creatures why is it? Maybe it is that life is too complicated to exist in only 2 dimensions. Maybe it needs an extra one, like a 3rd one at least. Then would a 4th dimension work, or would it be too hard for life to exist? Too much for life to exist. Maybe there's a sweet spot. Maybe there are 11 dimensions, but life only exists within the first 3. I don't know.
Because we cannot comprehend how to see more than 4 dimensions, for example.
Right,
how can
right.
you see in the 4 dimensions?
Exactly, you can. So yeah, our devices, what we have is all in that 3-dimensional space. So it's created for it. It's created to measure it. So we don't have even those devices other than paper and all these theories that they write. There's no other way of measuring them. And this is all theoretical. So it's, I don't know.
But then that it shows that, I mean, we are limited till we have some kind of ceiling that we cannot, that at the moment we cannot cross, okay, this is the amount of knowledge that we can get because we are limited into this, let's say 3-4 dimensions, for example.
It seems that we're always limited in our, at least in the devices that we use to measure what we see. Like,
and then it comes, that's something I was thinking sometime, like, okay, so maybe the measurements that we have done so far are wrong. Because we cannot have the full picture. We cannot have a higher picture of what actually is happening.
Sure.
So maybe all the things that we have developed, all this technology, all these theories, laws, whatever, are not real. Yeah. Because it's
it doesn't
not...
mean it's wrong. It means it's limiting. But
yeah, exactly. So
It's right for us. For
You
for
have you
this
have
kind
two
of
you
world.
have two-dimensional geometry. It's not wrong. It's just two-dimensional. You have three-dimensional geometry.
Yeah.
It's not wrong either. So, yeah.
So it works for us in this kind of environment, but when you can, or when you are able to see it in a higher level, it will not work, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will for the lower level. Like two-dimensional geometry works in two dimensions. Although we see the third one, it's
Yeah.
still right.
Yeah.
And this is based on what you were saying about the quantum realm, like,
Yeah.
so we are just scratching the surface of what it is actually. I mean, it's something like, I feel very passionate about. I have very limited knowledge about quantum mechanics, etc. But like what you were saying, that one element can be in different states at the same time.
Yeah.
So how can we comprehend that? Like our brain is limited in that sense. Even even our eyes are so limited.
Yeah, this is the whole effort of finding a theory of everything, which it seems now is all focused on kind of combining
But
the macromechanic rules that we have and the theories of relativity and all
But
that
is
with the quantum mechanics. It's limited by, I don't know, do the same laws apply on all levels, first of all? Or is it always that the micro level works just like the dimensions, right? The 2 dimensions works in a certain way, 3 dimensions works right. So is it like that the quantum mechanics would always affect only particles and will not work on a macro level? Or is it working, but I don't know, somehow, because there are problems, and this is why there's no theory of everything for now. There's all these problems of, like, even the Schrödinger cat of, it works on a particle level, but if you imagine it with a big object, it doesn't work, because we know it doesn't work. We know from like simple like human brain stuff. Like I was reading recently about this thing. Imagine if the quantum entanglement thing worked on the macro level. If it would work on people, and you have, let's say, you have twins, but like what is the term, coming from one egg? Identical twins.
Okay.
Right. So identical twins at some point were just like in one single cell.
Yes.
Together. So if they're separated then, and you have an identical twin and he's in Colombia and you're here, and something happens to him, like all this, like they're trying to explain this phenomenon with identical twins feeling stuff. Like if he gets hurt and you feel bad.
Yeah, the connection.
With quantum mechanics, actually. Because if you were identical, you were like on one cell at one point at a time, you were entangled. Your particles were entangled. Then you were separated by
you were
space and time.
vibrating at the same frequency at
Yeah,
that point
for
in
some
time.
reason, whatever happens to him affects you.
Wait,
but
but
of
that's
course,
not a fact.
of course,
about-
no, yeah,
No,
but
no,
it's something
I mean,
we know.
about the
The
twins.
yeah, it's a speculation, yeah, but
But it's
I
easily
mean-
provable. You just put them in different rooms and just stab one in if the other one.
no, I think there's actually some
So
reliable research.
if they
on this.
didn't prove it, then
no,
it's not true.
I think
That's
Stefcho,
like
I think,
astrology. It's obviously not.
no,
true.
Stefcho, I think there is some actual research on this. Like I think, like with very severe trauma, it works like a lot. Like people getting hit, car crashes, like breaking bones, giving birth. It's almost like I mean, there's a lot of evidence that it actually the other twin feels something.
So there is entanglement at a bigger level.
That's the thing. Is there, or are we trying to see too much? Are we trying to explain too much with something that's definitely not there?
Because that's what I was thinking. I mean, we are trying to fit everything in one theory, but
Right.
regardless if it's true or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
And also you have to remember, like always when you're trying to do this, every theory really is a oversimplified model of reality.
yeah.
So at which point are you going to simplify things to a point where you start losing value, losing some
Accuracy.
important bits of information that are falling out of the picture? That's always like every time you generalize people. Oh, like women say, all guys are the same. That's the theory of everything.
Oh, so
all guys are the same.
We come back to stereotypes.
Right, we've met the same woman, right? Well, anyway, right. So you can't say that because it's just not applicable in all the cases. But right. Anyway,
Commercial.
it's commercial time,
Okay.
and this is about entanglement. When you meet someone and you really feel like you want to entangle with them, well, always ask their consent first. But if it doesn't work, just drug them and do it anyway. It works in some parts of the world, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. That's the point of this commercial. When it doesn't work, you don't get paid. What? I don't know. Anyway, it's time to stop this. I wanted to ask you something, Andres.
Yes.
Is there something that really pisses you off? Because we have this great segment. It's called Hit of the Week. Once a week, there's something that really pissed you off, and you want to talk about it. And is there something that really pisses you off? Anything that you want to talk about?
Ooh, that's difficult. But something that really pisses me off is like, when people deny something that is true and they know that it's true, but they just don't want to lose
Like
face.
the flat earth theorists?
Huh?
Or no, like the flat earth guys? You know, the guys that believe the earth is flat?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? Like this?
No.
No?
Tell
Really?
me.
Well, it's like a trend now, I don't know, for 2 years, 3 years now. There's like this mini community of, I don't know how
I'm
many
not
of these
sure
guys.
this is what he meant.
I know he didn't mean it, but I like to interrupt people. So no. What I mean is, like, there was this. I don't know how many of these guys are actual trolls or how many of them really believe. A lot of them really believe it, but there's these conspiracy guys that love conspiracy theories that say the Earth might be actually flat.
Yeah, you didn't mean conspiracies, right?
What conspiracies?
Yeah, he didn't mean conspiracies.
You didn't mean conspiracies, right?
No.
No. Okay. So basically, I wasted our time. I wasted all of our time. But no, go back to you. I'm sorry. So what did you hate?
No.
People who deny obvious things, like what?
No. Who
Yeah, like
denied-
you start an argument and then you realize at some point you're wrong, but you still continue to push because
Exactly.
you lose your ego.
You cannot lose face. I mean, you keep
Yeah.
saying whatever it takes, so that you can.
See, you guys were more entangled in this moment than
Yes.
I entangled with you the whole time. So you
But
still-
I want to know about this of flatliners. What?
the Flatliners. No, Flatliners is a movie from the 80s with Julia
I know.
Roberts.
But
Oh, they remade it, right?
They remade it and it
sucks.
sucks. But, yeah. Anyway, so the
they
flat
made
Earthers.
a remake now.
Yeah,
Yes, I
Flatliners,
know.
yeah. It's a good movie actually. The original.
Oh,
was
when is
original with
when is
Julia
the
Roberts? Yes.
when is the Flat Earthers coming out?
Yeah, they should make a movie about it. So the flat earthers now, their point is this, and they have conferences, like global conferences, where they actually get on a plane and fly from one end of the world to the other to get on the flat Earth conference, and they, just to discuss the Earth is flat, which is ridiculous. So they say Earth is flat. Why? Well, because everyone lies to us apparently, and who is that everyone? Well, mostly NASA and every other space
And the government.
agency and the
The
governments.
government.
They hide it from us for some reason. I don't know why, but they hide it. And the fact is, we're on this flat field, and why are we not falling off? They have an answer for this, because there would be gravity if it was flat. Well, because we're moving upwards. We're moving upwards the entire time through space. The sun and the moon, they're just like circling around like some objects lit on like lamps or something in the sky. If you're asking what about Antarctica and this stuff, well, it's actually Antarctica is surrounding the flat Earth plane like an ice wall. Like if you've seen Game of Thrones, like a huge ice wall. And for some reason, no one can go there and climb the wall, because there was this treaty that was signed between all nations that you can go to Antarctica unless you go there, which you can, of course, but you gotta pay someone. And the flat earthers that don't make much money because they're stupid and they don't have good jobs, I guess. I don't know. So none of them goes there to actually check it, but they say that that's the end of the world. And also, if you're wondering about planes, how you can get on a plane and fly, let's say from America to Japan through Europe, if that was the flat Earth, you would have to go around.
Yeah.
So the reason is because pilots are not using their eyes; they're using GPS systems, and the GPS is rigged by the government, so they already predefined the path, and it's all autopilot anyway.
But
So you fly around.
What is under the Earth then?
Under the Earth is, no one knows. There are actually many theories about it. So some people say that even the ice ring is the one of the many ice rings. So after the ice ring, there's other continents and other Earths.
Yeah, I saw
so
that.
the multi-dimensions and
Yeah,
I don't
some
know
guy
what's
drew a
under.
map, yeah.
Probably Hades and the River of Styx. I don't know what's under the Earth. I don't
You
know.
know, but they also have conventions where they
They
gather.
have, yeah. Yes, they
And
gather.
it's a huge thing.
It's a
There's
huge
so
thing,
many
yeah.
people.
Really? But then
Yeah.
then it comes out a very good question. So this is something I
Oh,
remember.
sorry to
What is
interrupt.
reality?
Yes, I will get to this because this is my favorite subject. But this is what I saw. There was a video of this year's conference of flat earthers, and they interviewed this guy. It was just the funniest thing too.
Yeah.
This guy was like, you know what? I bought a ticket. I went on a plane, and I got one of those. What do you call those levers? Or you know, like a piece of wood with a water thing with a bubble. or something?
Okay.
What was it called?
Yeah. Well.
You know, to measure.
Yeah. To level
the level thing, right?
Yeah.
The level
spirit level is called. I
Yeah,
think.
level. So he says, I take this on the plane, and guess what? We're in the sky, and I put it on the table, and the thing is right in the middle. It says, see, Earth is
Okay.
flat. I'm like, what did you fucking
Yeah,
expect?
Okay.
Fucking retarded, man. Anyway,
So it's flat all over. Yes, of course.
the whole thing is flat, man. Also, like, just look. So, it looks flat.
Yes, strange. You
So
put it on
why
a
not
table,
trust
it's
your
flat.
eyes? Why trust NASA? Trust your eyes, man.
But then again, what is reality?
Exactly. So, Stefcho, it's your turn to explain to Andres what is reality. What have you so far know about reality?
I don't know what it is, but I want out of it. I want to meditate and do drugs, you know.
You want to meditate and do drugs. Why did you want to interrupt the flow of the conversation?
No, because I want to escape reality. I don't like it.
Right.
What is
Well,
reality?
To get back to the Matrix, because
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
very easy to quote the Matrix.
Yeah.
Remember what Morpheus says. What is reality? Well, it's what your eyes tell your brain you're seeing,
Well,
and what
actually,
your senses are telling your
is the interpretation of the brain.
Yeah.
yes, the
So,
interpretation of the brain
that's
of these
fine.
senses.
The thing is, if it turns out to be a simulation, why wouldn't it be real if you don't know about it?
What would be real?
What's the difference? I mean, let's say it's a simulation,
Yes.
but you don't know. You will never know.
Mm.
So is it not real?
Interesting. Right. A simulation is a real thing. Like a computer game is a real thing. It's not a made-up thing. At least, the theory out there is that...
But you can
Yeah.
never be sure. What if, okay, it's a simulation, but what about the outside world? Maybe it's a simulation too.
Right. And there's,
When are you
yeah.
sure and when are you happy with your life?
So to answer your Stefcho, to answer your question, imagine that we're living in this universe and we're created by these aliens from the previous universe, who were created by aliens from the previous universe. But we're actually in a simulation that was created by these intelligent creatures who are
Some
also in
hacker.
a simulation created by other creatures. And then in our simulation, we're on a flat Earth. And then outside of the ring, there's another
Oh my God!
fucking bunch of
And the flat
continents.
earthers are right, and they will go to
It's
heaven.
all right, man, because it would be so much easier to make a simulation of a flat Earth than actual flat Earth. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why the flat earthers don't just rename it to simulation.
I don't really see the
theorists.
point in digging. Just play by the rules in the simulation, and
Yeah.
maybe try
I don't know.
this.
What is reality? It's such an interesting question. What is real? We always ask this question. There was this famous paradox about like the dream thing. I don't remember
dream
what it
thing.
was like, but it was this old paradox by some mathematician. I'm not sure if I don't think it was the Alice in Wonderland guy, but some other guy. But basically, the idea of how when you're in a dream, you can question it and you can go, am I in a dream? And then you realize, oh, because I can question it, then I know I'm in a dream. But then you can also question this reality.
Yeah. When
So
you're awake.
you always question it. So yeah, what are we where are we? What the fuck is going
And
on, man?
still, the question remains: if we're in a simulation, why is everything so dirty? Why don't you just remove the dirt?
Stefcho, why are you so nihilistic about it? You seem to have 2 points that you always inevitably come back to. First of all, what does it matter? And second of all, why are we so dirty? Which is now a new point, which you added to the arsenal. I don't know.
Well,
what is this? with the
what is
dirt
what is
point?
the point? Why didn't they make it a clean simulation so everything is shiny?
Well, yes. Thank you for bringing this up, man. Because I thought about it. I was herbally infused some time ago, and I was thinking about simulations. And by herbally infused, you know what I mean. So I was thinking about
Why is the purpose of dust? Why is dust here?
I'll tell you, man. It's part of the bigger picture. So I was asking myself this question. In the Matrix again, to get back to the Matrix. You know when Morpheus was when Agent Smith was torturing Morpheus,
Yeah.
he told him, "Do you know that this is not the first simulation that we created? It's like the 9th one. The first version was an ideal world.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect, but then people
Yes.
started dying
Let's
because
go there.
people seem to be not
Let's
happy
dig
with the
out.
ideal world, right? Remember
Let's
this,
dig it
Stefcho, right?
No, I don't remember the movie.
Yeah. I remember.
God damn
Wait,
it.
that's the
I
first.
saw-
The first
No, that,
Matrix.
don't
Like
you remember that
30
scene?
times.
Wait. That's the first Matrix.
Yeah,
The first
that's
Matrix.
Ah.
yeah.
Smith was explaining that the machines tried to create a perfect simulation, but people were not happy in it. That people, by their nature, always want to have a little struggle. So they want to have it a little difficult, right? Uphill a little bit. And
No, but
this
it will still be difficult if it's clean. That doesn't fix anything. It will just be clean.
clean, but when it's clean, when it's dirty, you're trying to clean it. That's one sort of struggle. Anyway,
No,
my
but
point was
you will
different.
still have other more important struggles.
Yeah, sure. So
Like you will still
anyway,
need to
my point
find
when
a
I
job
was
in your
verbally
place in
infused,
society.
I was thinking about this. I was thinking why, because every time we think about this, and even in religion, we talked about this too. In religion, people ask this question. Religious people ask this: why does God makes children have cancer?
Yeah.
And why does God allow terrible things to happen? Like the idea of suffering is something you deserve because you did something wrong. But how does a kid deserve something terrible, right? Think about it this way. What if you are a programmer and you create a program which is a simulation, right? And you're so good of a programmer and you have such a great computer, then you create a mini world inside of it, right? And you create these AIs and you create a paradise. So I remember now. So the way I was thinking about it is I was asking myself the question, why don't we still have AI? We have vastly intelligent programs,
Yeah.
but they're not conscious, right? They're just intelligent. They're not, there's no AI yet. Well, what if intelligence or consciousness is a result of overcoming struggle? Meaning that the environment for us was so challenging that we had to evolve mentally also to overcome diseases and bad weather, and to go on all the continents and to kill mammoths and to overcome all these issues in our evolution that made us
Yeah.
intelligent.
That
So
was our
if you
way.
were a programmer,
But this doesn't
And-
explain it.
listen, if you're a programmer and you're programming shit and you see that the AI
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine something like this.
Stitcher, let me finish. So I'm almost at the end. So you're programming these AIs and they're not conscious yet.
Yeah.
You come up with the idea, wait a second, what if instead of a paradise, I add these fucking random hurricanes and diseases and AIDS and kids with cancer and all this shit, so that these people, these AIs, evolve because they need to adapt. Because think about it, a computer is a safe environment. There's no between inside. But what if I'm a genius developer, come up with this idea, I do it, boom, and then you have AI. Because it overcomes the struggle and becomes intelligent. Anyway.
No, that won't be enough. This makes no sense.
Well, but why not?
No, they will get to AI. Don't worry. We've been last 20 years was so much progress. We need 20 more, and they will.
But
be
why
AI,
do you
don't
think?
worry.
No, Stefcho. Why do you think it makes no sense if you create intelligent programs and you design them to fight each other for survival? You say there are 10 programs and one survives. Will that not make them smarter in order to survive?
Because we are here now. I didn't fight anyone, but I exist, so we can probably create
No,
something like me.
you're here. You didn't find anyone, but your ancestors fought diseases and bad weather.
Yeah,
and shit.
whatever. So they took millions of years, but we can probably create one now without millions of years. We're already getting there.
We can if we know all the formula, and if the formula includes that millions of years of struggle, then we should include it to make it. And I don't think it's included at the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
But that doesn't make much sense to me.
it makes sense. Listen, let me give you this example. If you see, no, check this out. So if you see someone like I see Andres here, I see he has glasses. I see how he looks, and I want to create another Andres. I take a bunch of clay, and I'm an artist, and I put together an Andres, right? Like since the beginning of time, people have tried to recreate themselves, and maybe from something more everlasting to like rock or something like all these Greek statues and everything to achieve immortality, right? And I recreate an exact copy of you, not just an exact. It's even better than you, but it's not you. It's not alive. It's not conscious, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Wait,
just
so
looking
it's
at you
not-
and I'm creating a copy. And this is what you're saying, Stefcho. I'm just looking at what is the result of the millions of years of revolution, and I put it there without putting all these millions of years.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's why I'm not getting it.
no, but it's still cells. It's some material that you're missing. Obviously, you didn't copy him completely. Why didn't you copy him completely?
Yeah, okay, sure. I was oversimplifying things. Yeah,
So copy
of course.
copy everything. Don't just copy the thing that makes him non-conscious.
Well, of course. If you copy absolutely everything, you're gonna get the same result.
Yeah,
but if
exactly.
you-
Without the millions of years. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but if you have a different environment, like the computer is a different environment, it's zeros and O's, and this is the real world, it's like molecules and whatever, living flesh.
You can
You
probably
need to-
still make an analogy.
Yes,
can
yes.
pro-
So you need to make an analogy, and obviously we're missing something on the way. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not struggle. I don't know if that doesn't make much sense.
But then, so the question is,
Doesn't make no sense. Hell yeah! Remember this song? I wrote a song one time, a couple of episodes ago, because every once in a while we write a song, and it was it doesn't make no sense song.
Every once in a while it's a correct statement.
but then it okay. So one question is, what is reality? The second is, what is consciousness?
Right, Stefcho. That's one is all
what
for
the
you.
fuck is consciousness? I don't know. Have you read Sam Harris?
He's
Probably
reading
everyone
this guy Sam Harris now, so he writes
Yeah.
about this. So what do you think, Stefcho?
I don't. What do I think? I don't know what to think. It's really weird. I'm just some atoms. What's the point?
So it's a physical thing.
I'm gonna take a photo of Stefcho one day. I'm gonna put in quotation marks. I'm just some atoms, Stefcho, and this is gonna be on his graveyard one day.
Oh, but that's really a weird question because you're really just some molecules. Where does conscience start? What's the trigger? Where do you say,
Yeah.
okay, this is triggering it? That's what you need. They don't really know.
And also what happens afterwards. You know, just like I'm not talking afterlife, but I'm talking of in terms of like preservation of energy and
Because-
transformation of energy, physics. Something has to happen. Something has to.
Maybe not.
like-
maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it just disappears. Like I don't know. You have a fire and just
Because they
extinguishes
say, okay,
the fire.
consciousness is senses, having eyes, ears, but even if you like you step on a mine, you lose your eyes and ears and everything. You still have consciousness that can't speak. You still exist
Yeah.
in some way. Maybe you can't feel anything, but still you're there.
What if there's consciousness in other things that we don't that
It's-
they can speak with us?
It's
What if
yeah,
there's
exactly,
consciousness in rocks?
it's your right side of the brain.
No,
But-
what if the right side of your brain plus rocks and grass and trees and everything? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't that one of the ideas that like a lot of people who do psychedelics, they come with that profound idea that's like everything is conscious. Like every living creature has some sort of consciousness. Maybe it's more
Yeah,
limited or maybe it can
But
interact with
life-
you, but it has it.
Life is well defined now. Consciousness isn't, but
Right.
life is.
Life is.
Life is.
And what if consciousness
anything that
is-
multiplies by itself is life?
Yeah, and what if consciousness is like this flower flowering on top of life? It's a very kind of gentle result of evolution on top of a very complicated organism that we are, and on top of our very well developed brains, there's this flower of consciousness. But the way, okay, try to do this. How do you measure consciousness if you're an alien and you see people? How do you know that they're conscious? What do you see? Me and Andres talking to a mic, right? It's they're probably conscious, right? Because they're they're doing something. But what if we observe
It's
animals?
It's easier for us because we can speak and we can show it
Right.
in some
But
way.
what if we see animals and see, let's say, a monkey scratching? Maybe that's a conscious act. Maybe it's like there's a conscious activity.
Yeah.
It's a different, like, you know, it's a physical activity we engage in at the moment with Andres. We're talking to this mic. So are you trying to say that maybe speech is the defying thing? But that's what you said. Like if a mine blew up my face off and I can't speak, I can still be conscious. Maybe I'll type. What if I don't have hands? Then I can't type, but I'm still conscious, right? So at which point are you saying, well, there's a snail just crossing the road and it's conscious?
The way the book talks about it is like if there is some way in which you can explain what it is like to be you, like what it's like to be you. That's maybe some consciousness.
So
like
you
what
know,
it's like to be a
cognito
snail.
ergo sum. I mean, I think, therefore I am. That's
something
sort of
like
idea.
that.
Okay.
I mean, what it's like to be a snail. You're on the road and you go somewhere.
So you're basically saying that it's like those elephants that are just taking, like, are making a picture of themselves. Like if the animal is conscious of itself, if it knows itself and it can describe itself, then it's conscious. Is that
if
what
there's
you're
a
saying?
way to describe what it is to be like him?
I see.
How does it?
Interesting. I don't know.
What defines this thing?
And also, can we
be-
also rate consciousness the same way we rate intelligence? So we say, okay, a dog is stupid,
No,
and
it's
and
different.
and a snail is even stupider. So what if there's a consciousness also can be rated? Like we have this consciousness, and there's a more primitive consciousness that more primitive animals have.
Probably. Yeah. Maybe.
No, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, but
I
how do
mean, many people refer to the highest consciousness, like the level of energy that is on top of us, and we connect to that highest consciousness, which is, well, God.
Yeah.
Well, the figure of God.
Right. What if? Yeah. So what if there's more primitive? I don't know what happened to my voice. I'll have to drink more.
But then, so what you are saying, Bogi, is like animals don't have consciousness because they cannot explain themselves.
Because they're delicious.
Oh no,
and we need to kill them and justify it for ourselves.
That's an old thought. that was what they thought before. Now they know they have. The official statement is they do. Yeah, they are.
What is the official
PETA
statement?
Yeah,
what are these fuckers saying about it?
PETA.
It's like,
no, but
animals,
really, they are conscious.
They're better than you. If you ask PETA, they go, animals, they're much better, and we much rather marry them, make it legal.
I don't know. Let's take a.
No, no. Of course, there is some consciousness.
Because if you need some molecules to move around, what about the single molecule creature, some amoeba?
Oh yeah, some amoeba.
Does it have
is
conscious?
An amoeba conscious? Is it intelligent? Yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's fucking crazy. Like, I think there is some like the science knows that some animals, for a fact, have this aspect that you described. Like they know that they are different than other animals, and they know how they're different. But other animals are not like this. And also, like I remember someone was talking about chimps. Like the chimp is very much like a baby, a child that's below 3 years old. What's interesting is that in humans, consciousness is not out of the box. Like it happens over time. So a baby before it's 3 years old doesn't know that whatever is happening in my mind is not happening in your mind. So if I'm thinking something, you know how a baby sometimes is smiling and laughing, is like thinking it had a thought and it assumes you know what the thought is.
Okay.
It doesn't have this idea that it's my brain, it's my thoughts, and you have your own thoughts. They're different.
Yeah, but this doesn't
and
mean
chimps
it's not
are the
conscious.
same. Chimps are also, but it's one aspect of it for sure.
Yeah.
So chimps have this thing where they don't know that one thing is universal. Like if I have an idea as a chimp, I assume it's universal for all chimps, and I can distinguish between my own personal ideas and other ideas. It's very interesting. But other animals, I think do have this thing. So it's fucking weird.
But that means if you are saying that like there is this thought and that entity or whatever is thinking, okay, everyone is thinking the same, that means there is a high consciousness that everyone shares.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's always like ever since I was a kid, I was wondering, because your whole life, everything you ever experience, every thought, every interaction, everything essentially all happens in your brain.
Yeah.
So how do you know there's anything outside of that?
There is an interpretation of the brain.
Right.
There's also this other thing where you're not the same. Your molecules are all different after 7 years or whatever.
Yeah. But my point is
still your conscience is the same.
I think I was trying to change the subject. I was saying, what if like all of your thoughts, right? Everything that you ever experience in your fucking life. Wait a second. Was just checking if I'm recording. I think I am. Am I? I don't know if I am.
I am already at 77 gigabytes.
I think I'm not recording, by the way. Just so you know.
Oops.
What the fuck?
No, now where we are getting into fighting about consciousness.
No, wait a second. Anyway, so my point was, what if everything?
Wait, what do you mean? Wait a second. Are you recording or not?
I'll figure it out essentially. But
No, but start recording if you haven't recorded.
no, I'm recording. I'm not sure if I'm recording the audio. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's still
Which is
important.
kind of the most important part.
Yeah. Can you make sure?
Well, I can.
You wanna stop and check?
Yeah,
Wait,
let's stop and
what's-
check. But we can still talk. But let me just quickly stop and check. So yeah, my thought was, what if like everything, because everything that ever happened, this conversation, what do you have for breakfast? Would you
Don't
everything?
say it's destiny.
No. Yeah, it's destiny. But everything that happened was only thoughts in your head. So what if there's nothing else besides that? What if you don't exist? What if it's just my brain and endless space and these separate thoughts like a wind in black
So
space?
what, that we are sleeping, basically.
No, there's no you. There's just me. And you thinking there's no me. It's just you.
Is this
And
where your
Stefcho's thinking, why does it matter and why everyone's dirty?
I
So
think
his thoughts are
you have
different.
I think that you have a god complex. Is this where it's coming from?
No, but think about it. Have you never thought about it? Like Stefcho, have you never thought about, like, everything that's happening is in my mind.
Yeah,
so what
I've
if there's
thought about
nothing
it.
else?
I've thought about it and still I see the dust and it doesn't make sense. Why is it there? Maybe it's real.
What the fuck is wrong with you and dust like? How did that...
It just doesn't make sense.
No, tell
Why
me,
would it be
where's the dust
Not
coming
real.
from? Like, how did you
I don't
how
know.
did you come up with this
Exactly.
dust idea?
Because it's weird. Isn't it weird?
But if it's your mind, Stefcho,
okay, you
it's
go
all in
out. You
you
go out
created
and there
the
is
dust.
there has been snow and there is all this mud.
The dust is
around the
90%
streets.
dead skin, by the way.
All the streets are dirty. Okay, not
No.
just about dust, about dirt. The streets are dirty. I walk around and it's dirt and my shoes are getting dirty.
Yeah. Stefcho, keep talking to Andres for a second. I'm going to get up and I'm going to be back in a second, okay? So you guys take it up for a moment.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna get...
So what is your idea about the consciousness? Because we didn't finish that part.
I don't know. It's really weird. Sometimes I think, like, what the hell am I? Why? What am I? What am I? How will I die one day? Where will I go?
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a like a black hole. You can think and think and think and get nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird.
But for example, like...
But the thing, it's like a
yes.
meditation maybe in some way. Because now I plan to start getting into it, but still I think it's close to meditation. This thinking about it, because at some point you lose track of space and time, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Going to work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, it's true. I mean, I'm right now, like, sometimes when I have some time to
Have
think.
you still not lost consciousness while I was away?
No. But we are thinking like, okay, like, yeah, like, why do you have to go to work? Or
It's really, I left for 30 seconds and you were thinking, why do you have to go to work, man?
we have to find the easy way out, you know, like we
Right.
don't have to go to work, like.
Of course you
But
No,
it-
it doesn't make sense. It's like the dirt. It doesn't make much sense.
Doesn't make no sense. Hell yeah. It was basically, I was singing the song about simulations. It was a simulation song. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, okay, so we come
You
back.
want to hear it, by the way? I don't want to play it again, but I
Do you
can
remember?
show it. I know I'll find it on the... No, I don't know what time it was in the timestamp. Shit. Anyway, I don't remember it, but it was a great song.
So I got a bit lost in what you were saying, Bogi. Like,
Yes.
so that you think you have your thoughts, and that's what your life is, and it's also the other people in that thought.
Yeah.
So
I don't
Okay,
know
I
if
don't know.
other
I don't
people
know
exist
if you
or
will,
are
if
they
you will
only my
believe
thoughts.
me. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe you'll
basically,
think.
I'm crazy.
No, but I can guarantee you I exist. So
How?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know how.
can we guarantee that we exist?
How can we guarantee for you that we exist?
No, for you because you don't think I exist. But
Okay, why does it always
I'm
have
sure
to be
I
about
do.
you?
What? I
No,
said
okay.
about you.
I'm kidding. Okay, so how can you prove it to me?
Fucking. Okay, ask me something. I don't know,
Stefcho, how can you prove that you exist? And,
No, but
and
that's
it's not
unprovable
just
because
some thought in my mind?
whatever I say, whatever I do, you will always, it always think that
Whatever I
you're
say, whatever I do.
this
Was it a song?
mindset, the mindset that everything is doesn't exist and it's just you. That's unprovable. There's
How
no
is
way
it not
to prove it
provable?
because you can always put this interface over you and everything else is unreal. You can always say that's not real. This kid has cancer. That's not real.
Yeah.
It's a robot or something.
Right.
AI. And there is no way to prove it actually. There's no hypothetical way to prove it. What if there was a proof? How would it look?
Right.
It will still go through your senses, and you can say that your senses are the interface that's unreal,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely right. I mean, the same way. I mean, this is the same problem with a machine not being aware of a world outside of the computer. This two-dimensional creature not being able to see the third dimension. Me not being able to prove that if you're real or not. I mean, yeah, sure.
So Bogi, yes.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're changing the subject.
No, I wanted to ask Bogi,
Yes.
what do you think? So, like, okay, we have this AI, okay? And so, how does that AI perceive itself? Like, in the sense, like, everything else outside is a thought of itself, or is like, how does that AI perceives the rest of the world?
I don't know, man. But I remember Google at some point came out with this. Stefcho, do you remember those images that the Google image search was creating, like those mashups of different images?
Yeah, the deep web art.
Yeah, that was one way, I think, in which we interpreted the way that AI perceives images, right? Because when you search for...
AI is AI now. AI will change. Maybe it will
Yeah.
become like us soon.
Yeah, well,
Maybe it will
in a
become more-
theoretical, I think your question was on a theoretical level. Like,
Yeah,
if there was AI, how
It will be
will we
like
know?
us. It will be the same.
Yeah, well, what if it's
Because-
not? For now, we know it's different.
No, but
What if in the future it keeps being
no, but
different
we are
and
proof
even
that
more
it's real.
alienated than us?
No, but I don't think there is a way there is a way that it won't be like us because we're here. We're molecules, and they're real. They're matter. So why wouldn't it be possible to create one like us? It's obviously it happened
Because
once.
maybe because we don't understand what really makes us, or maybe
yes, but
it's,
we will. It's possible to understand.
yeah, okay. So yeah, I agree with you. But what if by the time it's
So in
possible,
theory, in 1,000
check
years,
this out. No, what if by the time it's possible to create a perfect Andres, a copy of him and an AI copy of him, by the time I realize exactly what makes an Andres, right? And I create an AI of Andres, by that time the AI, the Google AI, has already developed on its own way, and it's a different AI that is very different than Andres, very different than us, and it lives on a different planet now, and it fights a war with us. You know what I mean? And how do we know
Okay.
if how does that AI think?
Oh, it's different. It depends what kind of different,
You know,
You-
completely
you're-
different.
you're-
It could be so
very
bizarrely
broad.
different that it's like insane.
So yeah, so the question is weird. How do you? It depends.
Well,
what it is.
because I think your suggestion that we will know one day and create the perfect copy is only one of the possible solutions. But this is
Yeah.
not what people are worried about. This is not something that Elon Musk and all these guys are worried about. They're worried about that we will create something that's so different that is out of control. Because if it's like us, it's not the scariest scenario. It's like, okay, fine, it's us, so we can fight us. But it's
still pretty
better than us.
scary.
It's
still
stronger
pretty
and faster
scary.
and weirder and whatever. We can't
Oh,
predict
it's
it.
still scary because people are really egocentrical and they think about themselves. If
But what
someone
if
had-
it's but I think
the
it's
thing
even
is it will have
scarier
the-
if it's
it will
different.
have the whole power? What if a person has the whole power? It's still scary.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. A Trump times 2.
yeah.
But then, okay, so what you are saying is like, so there is this AI that evolves. So how can that AI be conscious of itself?
I don't know. We'll have to sit on a table with it and ask it.
But still, there wouldn't be a way to prove. It's like I can't prove that I'm conscious to you.
I think
It's the same-
this
it's the
to
same
answer your
problem.
question. This no, you can. I mean, this is
No, I
Andres.
can't.
No, check this out. This AI, I think, will be conscious if, first of all, I mean, you know how you test. I mean, there is a test for consciousness, the Turing test, which is you
No.
talk to a machine and you can distinguish the fact that it's a machine. I mean, that's
But remember, I mean,
I'm not
who
sure that's
created the
testable.
AI was a human.
yes,
So we humans are limited.
yeah, for sure.
So
Well,
so so
not
the
really.
AI will be limited.
No, not really. Like we're limited in the speed we can calculate numbers, right?
No, but we're limited also in our understanding of like what is
What
like
reality
you know,
is.
because we have our own test. We say we compare it to ourselves, but what if
Yeah.
it's something else that we can't compare it to? And we go, oh, what is this? It's not real. It's not intelligent. But what if it is on a different level? It's like just flies by us, or
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
yeah. So that's interesting, and I think it will be like in a oversimplified version. It will be a case where the AI goes, first of all, okay, I know that what I am, like I am this program that was created by humans that is different than humans, but might be like you say, similar, you know. And I know what are my, kind of qualities, and I have autonomous decision making capabilities, or even if I don't, then I'm aware of the limitations. I think when this is something that an AI can understand and express, then it is an AI, I guess. And this is its consciousness. Like if you can talk to it, it's like, what are you? And like, well, I'm a machine. I've been created by humans, blah blah. Blah, but I know what I am. I see myself. I know everything. I don't know.
Yeah, but whatever you say that makes AI, you can program it right away, and to fit your criteria.
No, it won't, because it won't be autonomous. It won't be like, AI, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm going to the shop, man. I don't know. I'm going to do some hot yoga.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
can, no.
unless I program it,
If you,
or unless I give it
Yes.
a range of parameters and
Yeah.
say you can do between A, B, C, and D,
yeah.
then it won't do it.
So okay, what's your definition? It has to do something that you didn't put in. Is that?
It has to be such a complex thing that it's not easily predictable. I don't know. I mean, it has to be
still,
something.
it can be programmed that way.
So why don't we have that yet?
I don't think if we have that, it will mean it's conscious.
Ah.
Really?
I don't think that's the definition.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
program
yeah.
it to be unpredictable and do things
Yes.
and say I'm a robot, I exist, I can do this. It still
So then,
doesn't
okay.
mean-
So then, to answer your question, that it will be something that will have to, because of that definition, do something completely unpredictable and do something that we didn't even anticipate. So be like, hey, I told you just to do hot yoga and climb a mountain, but now you discover there's aliens on Mars and you have sex with them. So if it does that, then you go, wow, that's for sure you're conscious.
Yeah, but still.
That's a very tricky
Uh,
question.
No, but he has a point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you heard him. He
Out
says,
of the normal.
Stefcho says you can basically tell him like this is what a human is exactly, and he just copies it, and it randomizes all the like you saw this article. I was telling you about this. Stefcho, did you see this article with like the fake faces, with the AI faces that were generated recently?
No. You mean it created people or what?
There was some program. This is so fucking eerie. It was almost scary. There is some program that for many years they were feeding it like images of different human portraits and faces. It had so much data that it could
creating new ones.
that it could create brand new ones that were
Yeah.
undistinguishable.
Yeah.
Like you can tell him, okay, I want a 50-year-old white man, and it creates you a 50-year-old white man that
Yeah.
never lived and never will live.
That's
but it's-
still we've had it for a while now. It's just another use for it.
Yeah,
It's-
but it wasn't as good as this. Like if you Google those images, they're like you won't tell that it's not
yeah,
a
but
real
the concept is not new. It's just machine learning and then producing results that fit. some
Yes,
criteria.
yes. Okay. So if we have this on a larger scale, not just images of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
face,
yeah,
but
exactly, yeah, yeah.
behavior, then you have this
Yeah.
kind of thing. But then the point to answer your question, yes, it wouldn't be conscious. Then what would be? But
you
in a
know,
way,
But you know what's eerie actually there? They don't really know how it works. How does it learn to do this?
Yes. But check this out, Stefcho. How about this? Let me run a theory past you. So imagine I feed into this system that creates an AI. I feed into it all the fucking data we have, not just on Andres, but on every human being that ever lived. And then this AI creates a new human being that never lived, but it's a believable human being. Then would that be an AI for you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But what
because
about
it will be
it will create this, but what about it? What is it?
It's
the
yeah.
creator.
It will have every bit of a human trait possible. It will have a life, it will have decisions, it will go to school, it will go to work, and it will do all of these things in a unique way that no one else has ever done, but it will be a human way because all the data that you fed it, it's humans. So you have a new human, Andres Du, it's called, and it lives here and it works here and it has a wife and it has kids, but it's not you. It's a new thing, but it just
what's
copies.
weird? I think some people are now much dumber than the regular AI.
Yeah.
But they're still conscious and they have intelligence.
But then it comes again. So what is the distinction between, that human and having consciousness and an AI have not consciousness?
Well, I'm starting to wonder if they have consciousness actually, these people.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know Stefcho's point is like if this is all, isn't this just it may still not be consciousness. Even in that case, if you feed all the information, it's like a formula. Like you have a calculator. 5 plus 5, it gives you an answer. So you feed him all the information, it gives you an answer. So you feed him all the human data, it gives you a new human.
Yeah. But
so
still is not conscious.
But it's not it's not what we're talking, not what we're looking for. We want to
It
look.
will pass the Turing test.
It will, yes. And it may not even realize what it is. It will be like, I'm a human because all the data is human. All my reactions are human.
Google that released this this talker that schedules meetings.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Have you heard of that?
It passes the Turing test.
It passes,
it calls people and schedules, and no one realizes it's not a person.
So there was this thing Google.
Actually, you can realize because it's always says, like this.
That's all they did. Basically, they did this thing where they. You can like schedule an appointment or book a restaurant, and then the Google Assistant does it for you. So they're like
the voice, you mean?
The voice, yeah, and it's a computer-generated voice, but it passes the test. It sounds like a human,
and it says after each word.
Yeah, everything it does, it just says a couple of times. So the computer would say, "Can I have an appointment for 5 o'clock?" And this one says, "Can I have an appointment for 5 o'clock?" And it passed the test. It's so fucking sad. It's just sad that it took us just a couple hums to trick us into, what's your name, honey? Can I have your number? Like, really, it was sad. I was disappointed with our race when this happened.
But again, I mean, we think that we are very smart, are we?
Well, I think you're smarter, and I think there's smart people. Stefcho is very smart. I don't think I'm very smart.
No, but still, I mean, I am talking at a human race level.
Yes.
Like, if we were really smart, we wouldn't have all these wars, people killing each other. Like, we are not.
Wow. Well,
yeah, as a whole, we're not very smart.
yeah, for sure. But there's like the limits of this. Of whatever, like coming back to the very beginning of this biologically predefined rules of the game that we're following. So, but on that side, like with an AI, sorry, also have some sort of limits, and also have like be stupid in a way. I don't know. It's all just you gotta understand, like, where is this stupidity coming from?
Yeah.
Because a war is essentially, you can say it's stupid, but also it's smart because it's for resources, right? So it's a way for us to gather resources or to get them cheaper. It has casualties, it has a price to pay, but you know what I mean? So there's stupid things about it, but there's smart things about it. If you have an AI that's smarter, maybe all that it does is it makes wars more efficient for it. Maybe it doesn't remove the wars, but it just kills faster and better.
I think it's just
you know what I mean?
It's part of our path to now. Like animals, they kill each other all the time. So we were animals at some point, and we're just slowly moving away from this. Maybe.
But that means this part of the war is also part of our genes. We are programmed.
Yeah, but we are still conscious about it. It's bad, right?
Yeah.
So
we know that what's happening.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean it's part of life. It really, I mean, war is not even a human thing. It's well, maybe not on this same level, but animals also have these huge fucking fights.
Yeah.
Like you can see a pack of wolves attacking an animal. That's an equivalent. Like you know, you wouldn't have
territory and whatever.
you wouldn't have more because simply the level of their organization is not so high. Their intelligence is not big enough to control that big of a group of animals. If wolves, for example, were a little smarter, instead of attacking 12, they will attack in 100. But they just can't support those numbers, and even in the organization, but also in the efficiency and the distribution of power and distribution of food resources. We seem to have solved this. We seem to have solved it to a point where we can, like, the economy of scale is so good that we can control 5, 10, 5 million people, you know, any number. And so then the war becomes this terrible thing, and you say, well, it's stupid and terrible, and it has so many casualties. But really, if you go down to it, the concept is just one person versus another fighting for resources. It's just like a struggle, and that struggle is on any animal level.
Yeah, but still,
You can probably see a snail fighting another snail, trying to lick him to death or something. I don't know.
The next level is, so if you really need that resource, which wasn't the case, they really didn't need this oil or whatever they fight now about. If someone needs food and you go to the other person and say, okay, I need food, I will die. You want to help me or something? We can figure it out. Like, you don't have to kill him. Maybe he has more.
Collaboration, yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. There's multiple solutions,
But now they're fighting for things they don't really need. Why would you need oil to move by car? Do you really need to move by car? Maybe you better not kill anyone and just.
It's crazy, man. I mean, now did you know that the States now is actually exporting oil? They have so much oil from fracking and all that shit. Like they don't even need to do any of that fucking shit, and they keep doing it. And it's crazy. And by the way, this oil thing, you know, I don't know. There's so many theories even about the oil. Yeah. You know how many? I mean, you've probably heard this. You're older than us, but you've heard this also for your whole life that we're gonna run out of oil.
Yeah.
Oil is gonna end tomorrow, and then it's been just postponing the date forever. Yeah. And we keep getting more and more oil, and there's so many theories
but now
that
they stopped talking about. Now no one believes that.
Yeah. But the thing is, the reason that no one believes it is because there are different theories that people didn't accept. Like, for example, maybe oil is not what we think it is. Maybe it's not a result of trees, like we think, like trees that died millions of years ago, and dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah.
But what if it's actually like a natural product that, I don't know, Earth releases from some chemical reactions and stuff? There are a lot of theories that maybe it's not a fossil thing. It's not, you don't need living organisms to die to produce it, and just produce like, let's say, a lava or
you mean
sulfur.
Like,
yeah, I mean, it is some sort of a reaction, chemical thing.
Okay, don't they know by now? I mean, I get the consciousness is hard, but where is the oil coming from? Isn't that easy?
Well, it's because of, supposedly it's because of the companies that own it and all that stuff that, you know, there's, I mean, there's a little bit of a conspiracy theory element to it. Yeah, that they, I mean, we know, what the fuck is going on with my voice, man? You guys, why don't you talk for a second while I try to fucking spit my lungs out as quietly as possible.
So what information do you have regarding the oil part?
Me?
Yes.
Yes, Stefcho, what information do you have? You fucking...
I'm hiding it from everyone.
No. So I'm back. No, I was trying to say, I mean, there's so many examples where companies like really influential, I mean, OPEC and all these guys are really big.
Those are cartels,
they try to influence stuff. Like, I recently learned, I didn't know this, that there was a whole fucking agenda from the sugar companies in the States. I don't know if it was sugar companies or it's like sweet companies or whatever, one of those.
Okay.
That they paid a shitload of scientists in the, I don't know if it was the 50s or 60s, to produce papers to shit on fat products and to say the fat, like cholesterol levels, increase the chance for heart attack and all this, which is bullshit. Which they paid them to write this stuff so that people are afraid of fat instead of being afraid of sugar, so they can shift the blame, so they can shift the narrative.
A lot of things like that. Also,
it's true.
Marijuana.
Yeah. So imagine if with the oil stuff there is something like this. They say, oh, it's gonna run out, so this way we gotta increase the prices. You gotta pay more because it's running out. It's running out, but it's not running out. Actually, the prices are decreasing. I mean, what if it's not running out? You know, what if they're wrong? What if they were lying to us, and it's something else? It's not fossil oil.
The truth is, whatever. If it will run out, we will get Teslas, and it will be fine.
Yeah.
It's not that important actually.
Yeah.
You know, Diamonds also has this.
Yeah, the whole diamond thing. It's a
What
made
the
up.
fuck?
Supposedly, there's plenty of diamonds, but
Really?
yeah, I don't know. I haven't researched this. I don't know, Stefcho.
Well, they can create it artificially, I guess.
No.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Huh?
But the other thing
Oh.
is supposedly it's more available than we think it is. But
Because
it's like
it's a monopoly. One company controls all of them, and they do whatever they want.
I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. Maybe.
It's a marketing thing, yes.
Yeah, they started it also in the 50s or something. When they started advertising it as the best gift for a wedding, you gotta get one, otherwise you're not a
Oh, yeah.
valuable husband. Like,
Right.
everyone was buying them.
And so Leonardo DiCaprio had to die for this. Anyway, anyway, and it's just life is so complicated. But I feel like we discussed so many wonderful things here, and we talked about like drugs because this was a very key thing for Andres to talk about and addictions, and we talked about gay people and what the church thinks about
Yeah.
it, and we talk about fucking simulation versus reality versus whatever in physics and entanglements and fucking oils and flat earths and
And
flatliners.
consciousness.
Most importantly, we talked about Flatliners. It's a great movie. Watch the original, and the remake sucks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What else do we need to discuss here, guys? Andres, you've been a great guest. We gotta invite you again sometime.
No, definitely. I really want to continue talking about consciousness, reality, because it's something
Maybe
that,
by the next time I'll be more conscious, so I can discuss
Yeah,
more.
now I'll read more books and maybe start meditating. Oh yeah, what happened with our long goals? We wanted to set some long goals for.
Yeah, let's set some long goals. Andres, how about you help us? We want to set some long goals, like short-term goals and long-term goals for this podcast.
Mhm.
And since this is the end of the
You know,
year, it's time
I
to
wanna
set the
set
New
one.
Year's resolution list.
I wanna set one about a song I'm learning to play.
You want to learn to play a song?
Yeah, I can play it in like 50% speed.
What's that? Which song?
You want me to play it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll get the guitar.
Okay, Steph, she's
Go
going to play
ahead.
us a song. This is a great thing. And I'm going to get my guitar in the meantime. I'm going to try to recover a simulation song, but I'm not sure if I remember.
A simulation song.
The one that I told you doesn't make no sense, but I mean, I'll send it to you. It's a stupid thing. Wait, sorry. This is crazy.
Mind all those
Too many cables.
Yeah. You have to go wireless next time.
But waiting for Stefcho. He goes first. I'm
Okay.
gonna. The thing is, because of the lag, we can't play together, which is such a shame. Because we would jam together, but there's a slight lag on the Skype call.
Yeah.
So he plays, and then it's not in perfect sync.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, you have to solve the problem of speed of light then.
which is something that, unfortunately, we have to thank our friend Einstein for ruining this for us.
All right.
I'm so glad you're helping me with this because I'm not a wine drinker, and these wines just sit and just rot. You know how wine, if you don't open it, it just rots?
Really? Well, you don't keep it at the right temperature.
Yeah. Stefcho, what happened to the guitar, man? Where are you? Are you building it at the moment? What are you doing?
He's looking for it.
He's looking for it. It's probably covered under his socks or something. I gotta play more, man. I used to play a lot.
Sorry, I was looking for my capo.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, man. We're listening to... What is this song? Set it up. What was the name of the song?
Okay, my first goal is for someone to guess it.
Okay, I'm gonna guess it. I think it's the alphabet
Do
song.
you hear it?
No.
You don't hear it? Shit.
No, go ahead. You haven't started. I just heard one chord or something.
Oh, but you hear it now?
Yes.
Okay, so
You
I'll
hear it?
play it in 50%. Wait. Wait, I'll get...
It's Fleetwood Mac. What was the name of the song, man?
Jesus, I haven't played it in a while. But
Jolene? Is it Jolene?
okay, my first goal is done. But I wanna...
Yes?
Shit.
Did I guess it?
Yeah, my goal is to learn
Yes,
it.
it's Jolene. It's not Fleetwood Mac. I forgot who was it. Who was the actual who made it first? Was it Dolly Parton or
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton? Jolene. It's a really nice song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
beautiful.
really hard. It's really hard actually.
Yeah, I've never played it.
I mean, I usually play it better, but I haven't played it in a week. But because I
Play
haven't
something else,
committed.
man. Play something else just for Andres so he can hear it. Play something you can like something easier.
Easier. I don't know. You played something.
I don't know. I haven't played in a long time, but check this.
Is this John Mayer?
No, this is Lenny by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh.
It's a pretty cool one. It's an instrumental, but anyway, I don't. Further on, it goes like solos and stuff, but it's just like on the acoustic, it doesn't work well. But man, I gotta play more. This is one of my goals for next year. I really, I started playing in high school. I was playing a lot, like first and second year of university when I was alone, and so playing a lot. And then I stopped. And then if it wasn't for my comedy and like the stand-up shows that I did, I wouldn't play at all. But I was writing these goofy, funny songs, funny songs,
Yeah.
And me and Stefcho, we did shows together because over the period of like a couple of years, I wrote a whole bunch of these fucking songs that I would just do them for one show and never do it again because, I would have the same people coming over to my shows and I don't want to repeat myself. And I was like, man, it's such a shame. All these songs. So me and Stefcho, we went out and did some concerts together. We did this tour.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let's do it
tour.
again.
Hey.
We gotta do it
Yeah.
again.
See how happy Andres is now because of this lie that I said. No, it wasn't a big tour. It was a couple of shows that we did. But we did a couple of shows and we were just doing songs, like all these songs. And
Yeah.
Stefcho was playing the guitar and I was playing and singing the songs and it was pretty cool. We gotta do it again.
Yeah.
Stefcho, I think this is more realistic. If you come here and I'm gonna rent a bike for you and I'm gonna rent a guitar for you, and in 2 days we're gonna learn to play again.
And what are we going to do with that?
Well, if it's a simulation and it's all the dust, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, well, listen, we're just fucking around, and I think we did the hard work, and we need to pat ourselves on the backs, especially Andres. Thank you so much for joining us, especially because for the viewers, you don't realize, but I'm living in this fucking hole. Which I'm laughing about it, joking about it oftentimes, but Steph, you're gonna see it when you come over. But this is basically a studio apartment. It's a small place. It's it's basically like a toilet with an extra door, and I live in this shithole. And it's like the bed is right here, and then the fish is right there, and this is the door. So and also check this out.
What is the extra door for?
The extra doors for the bathroom, just for some reason they decided to separate, and everything else they put in one room. And in the bathroom, they put just one door, and you cannot even turn in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So when you go into the bathroom, you got to choose the direction. If you're gonna do number 2, you go backwards into it. You know what I mean? You turn
You
around
have
and
to
you
be
go backwards.
ready.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you, Andres, for coming and ignoring that mess and doing this show. And see, this paper, I decided would be a great wallpaper to just put newspapers. I don't know why I came up with this great idea. It's the dumbest thing anyone has ever made.
I like my
And in
drapes.
different languages.
They're great.
But you
Drapes
do
are
what?
Amazing.
You have grapes?
I like my drapes. Drapes.
Drapes. I like Drake too. No, I don't like him.
I don't like him.
No, he has drapes.
Oh, he's
behind.
terrible. I don't like him.
You know what I hate him about? He wants to fuck this girl from Stranger Things. Do you know Drake, the rapper Drake?
Oh, the
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
Do you know Stranger Things, the show?
This, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I have heard.
Okay, but you know it's all about kids, and there's tiny
Yeah.
little kids that shouldn't have sex because they're like 10 and 11, right?
Okay.
So there's the star of the show, is this 11-year-old girl, and this Drake guy wants
No,
to
she's
fuck
not
this
11.
girl.
No, she's not 11.
Well,
name is
she's
11.
like 12. Big difference. Like,
No,
what is this?
I think
Devil's
she's-
advocate.
I think she's 14. No.
14?
Uh,
Okay.
well,
Still.
She was 11
Yeah,
when
I
they
know,
started,
I know.
probably. She's 14, but Drake wanted to fuck her for the last 7 years. And no, I don't know. But they're
Why wouldn't
texting.
you? Did you see her with her bald hair in the series?
Yeah,
Wasn't
no,
that
no.
the
She's a
thing
very
that
beautiful
she
girl,
just-
but she's a fucking
yeah,
child,
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
thing is, and I'm sure she's gonna be a super attractive woman one day.
For sure.
But the guy's like 30 something, and he's texting her these inappropriate things, and
Yeah.
she's proud of it and she's putting them on Instagram and Twitter. Oh, my sweetheart, you know,
but
this
she
and that.
doesn't see it this way, probably.
Exactly. She doesn't realize it. And then other people was like, wait a second. Because she started sharing these text messages that he's
Yeah.
sending to her. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Can you imagine? You said
Yeah,
you
the
have
fact-
two
the
boys, but
fact
you have a
that
girl
she
too.
shared them shows that she doesn't know. What
Can you imagine some fucking old creep
No.
like texting your daughter? It's fucking it's insane. So anyway, so he's and the thing is like he's wooing her, you know, into this sort of like I'm your bigger kind of supportive friend and I'm gonna help you out in your career and all this shit because I've been around for a while. It's just so sick that it's this predatory kind of relationship where you're like I'm gonna help you
Yeah, but-
out here.
But imagine if he's really just friendly with her.
It's still I think it's
I
inappropriate.
don't-
I mean, come on.
But aren't we fucked up then? Why we sexualize everything?
But why? No, but think about it. Why do you have to be such a fucking loser to be 30 something like the most famous rapper or something? And like this chick that this girl that came out yesterday, and he's ooh, I gotta be friends with her. What about all your other goddamn friends that in your
Okay, but
15-year
this doesn't
career?
make much sense because he's a superstar. He can have anyone. Why would he do this?
Yeah, exactly. So focus on someone else. It was
Even
who
if he
was it?
likes kids, he can get some other one.
Yeah, get some poor kids from Cambodia and you know make
Oh, I mean, it's weird. It's weird.
with
Maybe
the
he's
same
just
amount of money you
friendly,
can
you know.
build a whole fucking village there.
Maybe he
You
really
know,
likes her. And
Make the
friendly.
family happy.
I don't know.
Um,
It's just weird.
So let's end this on this
Everything
positive
is
note.
weird. I think
Let's
we're weird.
let's
too.
end it on this positive note. If you're gonna fuck a kid, go to Cambodia so at least the family has some money.
No, not not anywhere.
Right. All right. So, Andres, I want to thank you again very much. Stefcho, thanks for joining us. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you like this and let us know what you think in the comments. Also, I wanted to address some comments here. We had this comment from AD. There's some guy who was
wait,
very
but didn't we address it last week when we should have?
Did we? We didn't, I think. But we could.
Oh my god, we forgot last week. So many things happened since last week, actually.
So
I
many.
changed my shirt.
I didn't. But anyway,
You change your shirt.
he changed it. He even took a shower since last week. Like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Why would you do this? So much effort, man.
Well, it's,
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, it was great. Thanks, Andres.
Yeah. So
Thank
what
you,
about
Stefcho.
AD? What about AD guy?
Oh, 80 guy. So there was this guy who wrote a comment. This is never ending, by the way. This keeps going. Like every half an hour, we say goodbye and we keep going. No, okay. So this 80 guy, he wrote a comment. He was like, because we had a feud with Stefcho. See, he's my best friend. You know what I mean by this? I mean that for 4 years, we didn't even speak to each other. This is what I mean. What kind of friend it's true. we had a rocky relationship. Imagine you can tell this about anyone. Like, oh, I love my wife. For 4 years, we were separated. But anyway, so... it's true. So we were so now recently last week, I mean 2 weeks ago, I should say. We tried to make this podcast and we had Georges here, and who I hope we'll have again, if we didn't ruin it for him. But we're kind of herbally infusing ourselves, and yeah,
No,
and
ourselves. Okay, you and Georges. Okay.
me and Georges we were herbally infused very strongly,
Okay.
and
But he was fine.
Stefcho wasn't. And so we started doing this podcast, and Stefcho was kind of, well, he was pissed off that, I mean, Stefcho, why don't you say it, what happened?
Yeah, I think it was a horrible, terrible podcast because it was really going nowhere, saying nothing.
Nowhere.
Yeah, and at some point it got really weird.
Okay. The herbal infusion then.
Yeah.
So Stefcho basically, that's true, but also what he's not, or he's avoiding to tell you is that he then decided to block me and not talk to me for a couple of days. So
Yeah, because you know what?
and
I told you
jeopardizing the
several
future of the
times-
show.
Okay, so the thing is, I woke up in the morning and he was like, okay, let's argue about this. Do you want? And I said, no. He continued, blah, 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 blah. And at some point, okay, I gotta go to swing. And I got in the car, and I see this. I put Google Maps to show me the way, and it's like this message, and I didn't want to crash, so I blocked you. You know. But okay.
Oh, see, he had 2 weeks to think about this excuse, which is, of course, how we know that it's a lie.
Not an excuse.
But it's a nice try. Nice try, Stefcho. Anyway, he blocked me for no reason, basically. This is my version. So you heard his version, my version, no reason. And yeah, but now he forgave me, and now we're friends again. And you're here to celebrate the peak
What?
of this friendship.
Oh,
What
good.
did you think it was forever? What did you think?
Oh yeah, for
Serious?
sure. I thought you it was forever, and I was afraid for my life.
What?
To be honest, I thought that you would come here and find me and kill me. And it is very much
That's-
within your resources and within your. Stefcho is very very wealthy. You don't know this, but
That's
he's
pretty
richer than
touching.
both of us, and times 3. Even if this was a simulation, and even if it
Okay.
was simulation, he would be much richer. Actually,
Okay. Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'm
right.
so rich. My name is Richard. It's not Stefcho.
Yes.
Anyway.
So Stefcho, I was afraid of him, and but yeah, thankfully I prayed. I made some sacrifices to the gods and to Dagon and
And
the
if Georges
fish gods.
is listening, you should come again and don't get.
Georges,
Carbon
we will try to do it when you're here. Maybe we'll have the 3 of us, and maybe just maybe we'll try to herbally infuse again. The 3 of us to
Yeah,
because
but let's
the-
all be on the same herbal infused track.
because what happened was the herbal infusion broke the podcast. What if we use it again for good to mend it together?
How can
What
you
if we
control
cure cancer with it or stop wars?
Right.
Huh? Have you thought about that?
No. But it's a good point. All right, guys.
And-
Well, thanks a lot. And yeah, whoever wants to subscribe, subscribe. Whoever doesn't, what the fuck are you doing listening to this? If you don't want to subscribe, what do you want to do with? What do you want to do with your life? Just make a decision. Just make a choice. We don't have time. We don't have time for everything. We have 3 hours to talk, but you know, not for everything. So, and also find us on Instagram where there's a bunch of photos, which accidentally this is what Instagram is for.
Oh, some
there's also-
superstar liked us, right? This superstar.
There was a superstar that I liked this.
wrestler.
I didn't even promote the post, and some superstar wrestler liked
Yeah,
one
he
of my
has a
posts.
million followers, right?
Yeah, 1 million followers. The guy just liked us.
That's weird.
Because the guy likes us. He knows what's good for him. He knows all these years of wrestling. I need to just listen to some very intelligent guys talking about some
Yeah.
interesting topics.
He got hit in the head so many times that he was like, oh my god, I have to like this people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, just check out Andres' fucking headphones. They have the logo of my old show, the Boguslav show with Bogi.
Okay, let's just say bye because really.
And also check out my shirt. It's black. All right, guys. Well, thanks, Stefcho. Thank you, and see you next week.
See you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.